Good morning, everybody. I hope y'all are having a good day today. We're on day 7 of the trial, and the Westons are supposed to be testifying this morning, so we will see how it goes. Y'all. Yeah, make sure you're on all chat. Hold on, JLR has a new Rico music video. I'm done, son. That's it. I'm gonna have to go fucking see it. Anyhow, nonetheless, here we go. And you know this judge is always late. And after this live is over, we are going to have another live when I shut this down. And yeah, y'all are going to be pretty surprised at what I got to say.
Chatham County Superior Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Tammy Stokes presiding. Please be seated and come to order.
Good morning, everyone. Okay. I gotta go through my little routine here when I get situated. I guess one thing that we can do is bring Miss Simon out. Good morning to everybody else in the courtroom today. All right, it appears that everybody is in place. We are on the record in the case of the state of Georgia versus Leilani Simon. And this is SPCR 22-03364J6. The state is present at council table. Miss Leilani Marie Simon is present with her counsel at her table. Good morning to you all. Is there anything that we need to take up before we bring in the jury? And I'll turn first to the state.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. And to the defense.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Thank you. Please bring in the jury.
Jurors and sworn. Full pleasure.
All right. Thank you, William. Please have a seat. And good morning. Welcome back. We're going to launch right in. Of course, I have to ask you the question. Has anybody read any news media, observed any news media, watched any TV shows, just talk with anyone about the case, allowed anyone to talk with you about the case?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. And with that, then we are going to begin. I'll turn to the state.
State calls Joe Matz.
Thank you, Pam, for becoming a new member. I appreciate that. Thank you for showing love, baby.
Evidence you shall give the court and jury in the trial of this issue should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Step this way, please.
All right. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
Good morning. My name is Joe Matz. I'm the division manager for Waste Pro.
And how do you spell your last name, sir?
It is MATZ.
What is Waste Pro?
Waste Pro is a solid waste hauling company. We pick up trash basically.
And you said you're a division manager or the division manager?
The division manager.
Which division?
My division is located in South Carolina, but we oversee parts of Georgia,
Where do you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
specifically Savannah and the surrounding areas.
And so where do you work on a day-to-day basis? Where's your office?
It's in Hardyville, South Carolina.
And you mentioned that you all service the Savannah area.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how that works. What is involved in being a solid waste hauling company? I think you said.
Yeah, so obviously we have trash trucks that go out into the community on a daily basis from a residential aspect, from a commercial aspect, and then from a construction aspect. So we collect garbage at different, for example, residential homes, commercial businesses, and then construction sites.
What kind of different trucks do you all run?
So we have rear loaders, which are residential trucks where men are on the back of the truck. We have trucks called ASLs, which they're automated side loaders, which the arm comes out and picks up the trash. Then we have commercial trucks that basically go behind 7-Elevens. They pick up the bin, dump the bin, put the bin back down and go away. And then we have trucks that service construction sites. They're long boxes that we pick up and take to the landfill.
Now, I'd like to draw your attention to the days following October 5th, 2022. At some point you were contacted by Randall Noble of the Chatham County Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Prior to being contacted by him, had you heard anything of the disappearance of Quentin Simon?
No, sir.
Okay, so Randall Noble was the first you heard about this.
Yes, sir.
And did he ask you whether you could identify which Waste Pro truck had serviced the dumpsters at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza in Savannah on the morning of October 5th, 2022?
Yes, he did.
And were you able to tell him that information?
Yes, sir.
How did you do that?
So every day the drivers are assigned route sheets. And so we go into our database, look up Azalea Mobile Home Park, for example. It will tell us what driver, what route he is on that day.
And did Detective Noble also ask you whether you could tell him where that truck had gone after servicing the dumpsters at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza?
Yes, sir.
And were you able to tell him that?
Yes, sir.
How were you able to tell him that?
Our trucks are equipped with GPS system. So basically any stop that they go to, we have what's called these little breadcrumbs from the GPS. So breadcrumb will, once we identify the truck, it will show us where the truck is at a specific time and then where it goes throughout the whole day.
Now, if you can do this from memory, I'll ask you. If not, we can just get right into the documents. Do you remember what truck it was that had serviced those dumpsters that morning?
Yes, sir.
What truck was it?
It was 3909.
And who was the driver of that truck?
The driver is Tawan Lee.
Chuan Lee,
Yes.
TWAN.
Yes, sir.
What type of truck was it that serviced those dumpsters?
It's a commercial truck.
By which you mean, you described the various types earlier. What do you mean by that exactly?
So the commercial trucks, again, they're the ones that pick up the smaller containers. The truck will dump it. At that time, once the truck services the equipment, the container gets put back in place. The driver will then compact the load, smashing its contents, and then moving forward to the next stop, or in this particular case, the landfill.
When you were describing how this particular truck works, you sort of extended your arms out in front of you. Are you referring to the front loading type that slides arms into the slots on the side of a dumpster and then lifts it up and back?
That is correct.
Okay. And you mentioned a compactor in the truck. Can you describe that?
Yeah, so all trash trucks have compactors in them, whether the residential or commercial. The reason for the compaction is obviously that from a productivity standpoint, we want to pick up as many stops as we can. So the trucks are operated through hydraulics. And once the trash is in the body of the truck, the compactor is pushed, and then it pushes back and just condenses the load so that we're able to maximize the load.
Can you tell us anything about how powerful the compactor might have been in truck 3909? I understand you're a division manager, not an engineer, but I wonder if you know.
Well, the compaction ratio, quite honestly, I couldn't give you 120 pounds per square, foot or whatever per pressure, but it will smash everything in the unit, including wood, glass, whatever's in there will be smashed.
You've talked about being able to tell Detective Noble that it was truck 3909. It was driven by Tuan Lee, and being able to tell him where that truck then went after servicing those dumpsters on the morning of October 5th at Azalea. I don't know whether I've asked you this. Where did that truck go after that?
It went to the landfill,
Which landfill would that be?
Superior Landfill.
Is that the one off Little Neck Road?
It is the one off Little Neck Road.
Okay. And what did it do there? Perhaps it's obvious, but I'll ask you.
Yeah, so when the trucks arrive at the landfill, they're scaled going in for the weight, and then as they go up to the landfill, they'll go up to the face of the landfill. They're directed to dump their load in a particular spot. Once that truck is emptied, it will go back down. It's weighed out. We receive a ticket for the time and also how many tons were on that particular load.
Okay. And they get that by, I guess, subtracting the known weight of the truck from the weight of the truck and enter it with all the trash or something.
Correct.
Were you able to provide Detective Noble with any documentation of these things that you've been talking about, the route sheet and GPS printout and so forth?
Yes, sir.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 65?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that document?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what it is?
So this is his daily route sheet that he fills out prior to the start of the day and then at the end of the day.
Now, are these records that are created in the ordinary course of business?
Yes, sir.
And are they maintained in the ordinary course of business?
Yes, sir.
In fact, that's why you were able to produce it for Detective Noble.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as States Exhibit 65.
No objection, Your Honor.
Now, do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 66?
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that?
Yes, sir.
And what is it?
So that's our GPS tracking system with the breadcrumbs on it.
Is that also a document that's created and maintained in the ordinary course of business?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as States Exhibit 66.
No objection, Your Honor.
And may I publish these exhibits, right?
Yes.
All right. Can you see the screen all right from where you're at?
Pretty much.
There's one right.
Oh.
I don't know whether that one's better for you.
I can see that.
Do you mind, if you prefer to stay seated, let me know, but would you mind just stepping down and kind of walking us through these different entries on here and what they mean?
Sure. So again, this is just says that this is Route 405, indicating that that's Taiwan Lee's Wednesday route. Worker is Taiwan Lee here. Role as the driver. Punch-in time is 1:33 a.m. in the morning. You start really early. You also note what time you left the yard. It's 1:45.
Is WP yard there? What does WPYD mean?
Waste pro yard.
Yeah, just like where the trucks sit when they're not being used.
It's the facility, yes.
Okay.
And then this is what time he arrives back at the facility. And then this is his punch-out time.
Okay. Let me move down and see what the next thing we want to talk about is, okay? In this box here, these first two entries here where it says destination sup, does that refer to Superior Landfill?
It does.
Can you walk us through these two lines here?
Yeah, so again, it just pretty much tells what vehicle it is for the day, tells what kind of truck it is, the destination, obviously, Superior Landfill. If we were to go to any other landfill, it would be marked as such. The date, obviously, the material is commercial, not residential, like I spoke before. These are just the weights of the truck, the tonnage that was on the truck, and then these are arrival times to the fill.
So how many times did this truck go to Superior Landfill that day?
So he went twice.
And what were the two times for those stops?
So the 6:25 in the morning, left at 6:35, and then here at Superior at 10:12, and then 10:32.
Can we take from that simply that part of the way through his list of stops, the truck was full and needed to be emptied or something along those lines?
Right, correct. So he starts early in the morning. So
Okay.
by the time the landfill is open, he's full. So that explains the first one. The second one is we don't want to start off the following day with a loaded truck. So he may not go back with as many tons. And exactly in this particular case, he only had 4.37 tons on, but the truck needed to be emptied that day.
I see. Now, starting on top of page 2 here, is this just the list of places that he was servicing that day?
That is correct.
And are these in order from, first to last?
Yes.
I'd like to scroll down to the last entry. What does the last entry reflect on this route sheet?
That's the Alien Mobile Home Park.
In the this column quantity there, what does that refer to?
That refers to the number of containers that are at a stop.
All right, so what does that 5 mean there then?
That means that there were 5 separate individual containers.
And that he serviced them all?
Yes.
Now moving to States Exhibit 66. It's maybe a little hard to make out, at least it is for me from here. But can you just walk us through what this is?
Again, these are just basically the GPS system tracking the truck. So you can see where he's at his last stop, and then the breadcrumbs will just follow down to the landfill, and it tracks it over to the landfill.
Okay, so he's at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza at about 9:45 or so, and then is it the landfill sometime shortly thereafter?
Correct.
And at that point, if Quentin Simon was in those dumpsters,
Actually, I honor calls for speculation.
I'll just withdraw it.
Okay.
One moment, please. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may have a seat. Is there any cross-examination?
There it is, Judge. Thank you. Mr. Matz, how are you this morning, sir?
Doing well, sir.
I'm going to ask you, do you still have a copy of State's Exhibit 65 in front of you? If you don't, I can provide you a copy.
I do, sir.
I was curious. There's a handwritten note on the top of that that says 10-5, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And down in the body next to the destination, but before the material in the middle of the page, it says July 6th, 2022. Well, what's the discrepancy here?
To be perfectly honest, I don't know what the 10-5 would be. I just know what the 10-6 would be.
All right. And okay, can I approach for a second?
Sure.
Sure. Can you show me the 10-6 that you're talking about?
Yes, sir.
On the second page,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
All right. So which 10-6 are you referring to? I see a 7-6, but I don't see a 10-6 here.
It must have been a misprint.
All right. Is it safe to say that these are accurate records for July 6th of 2022 based on everything except for the handwritten note at the top?
No, what this could have been is when typically they put this into the system. So the Wednesday generation would be 7-6, but the actual date that they're operating off of, because the route sheets don't change. So when you put them in, they pretty much stay in the system. So this would tell me that this was entered in on 7-6, but not the route sheet for 7-6.
Yeah, but you've just testified that this was the route on 10-5, and that's not what your business records say. There's a serious discrepancy, don't you think?
Well, I think there's a discrepancy in basically the date that these were put into the system, but not the route sheet. This route sheet is particular for that day.
Okay, but not based upon the writing that's on your own records, then, correct?
That would appear so.
So let's go ahead and talk about the actual collection, the route itself, okay? So the route that this particular driver takes, how long has Mr. Lee been working for you at this point in time?
Mr. Lee had been working with us since about March or April of 4/22.
Okay, so March or April of 2022?
Yes.
So about 6 months. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
a fair estimate?
Yes, sir.
And let's just run through State's Exhibit. The route starts at GSU, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At least 11 pickups on the Georgia Southern campus, correct?
Yes.
And there can be, it looks to me, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, it looks to me like they're all single dumpsters with just one double dumpster pickup, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and that's on the south side of Savannah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then it looks like the next pickup is on Ogeechee Road. Is that correct?
What page are you on?
I'm on the, here, I'm on the page, top of page 3.
Right.
Okay.
Right here.
Yeah. So, and just out of curiosity, I mean, are these going in order, or is there a set route that would minimize use of gas?
Typically, they're in order, but the driver, depending on what's happening for the day, if there is an accident or some form of obstruction, he may have to veer off, pick up something different, but come right back to the route.
So at least based upon this, starts on the south side at Georgia Southern, goes over to Ogeechee Road. The next one, it looks like it's a, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Stand Hall, which probably is a SCAD pickup, if I'm not mistaken, downtown, right? On Martin Luther King?
It doesn't indicate whether it's SCAD or not, but assuming that's SCAD, yes.
I mean, I don't know either. I'm making that assumption just based on what it looks, but it's like there's 3 pickups there. Then it's Dollar General, Shop and Go, G&H, downtown, York Street, Petter Hall, I'm sorry, an apartment building, SCAD, Shop and Go, Atwell's, downtown, Checkers, the bank. Then it goes out Abercorn. And I assume all of this is happening during the course of the night, correct?
Correct.
So it's a number of stops, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said it's a commercial truck. So again, my understanding is it has 2 of those big things that come out the front. Forks, comes out, goes in, picks up, dumps it in the back, and then sets it down, pulls out, and goes to the next one, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just want to make sure it's the right equipment. So there were a number of stops. How many stops are in a normal route?
It varies from day to day. On this particular day, he had a total of 56 stops.
Okay. And it's 72 total containers
Yes, sir.
and over 500 total yards of trash, correct?
Correct.
And was this encompassing both sets of routes or just his one early route?
Both routes. I mean, both sets of during the loads, if you're speaking load wise, it encompasses both loads.
Okay. And let's talk about the GPS route as State's Exhibit 66. This is not the entire route. This is not the entire GPS history for the truck for this particular thing, is it?
No, sir.
Okay. This is just it looks like a portion of it. And I can't make it out, but I'm going to assume it looks like it's just a portion going down Ogeechee Road, then out Ogeechee Road, then over to, it looks like the landfill, if I'm not mistaken. Does that seem like a good summation?
That is correct.
Okay. And it doesn't have any of these other routes that I just discussed.
No, sir.
But you're saying that this does, right?
Yeah, I mean, he would follow this route.
So there were how many stops on Ogeechee Road that you're aware of or near Ogeechee Road?
I'm not aware. I mean, I would have to look at his document and study it. I'm not familiar with every stop that every driver services.
And I assume that every place on Ogeechee Road doesn't necessarily use y'all, does it?
That's correct.
There are other waste companies that service those areas, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And with regard to the dump, I assume you're not the only company that uses the dump either, are you?
No, sir.
I assume that, and I'll ask, how many dumps are there in Savannah for commercial waste?
The only one that we use is Superior. So I'm not sure in Savannah if there's any other landfills that some private companies operate.
To the best of your knowledge, are there any other landfills?
In Savannah?
Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. So is it safe to say that pretty much all the commercial trash collected by all the different companies go to the same landfill and get deposited in the same place, to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I got. Thank you, Judge.
I'd like to ask you a couple questions, see if we can clarify this date thing, okay? In this block here, where we have notations about when this truck went to the landfill that day, the date typed in here is July 6, 2022, right?
Correct.
Okay. You said something on cross-examination about how that would have been the day that this route sheet was created, but then the route sheets don't change. Can you explain what you mean by that, just to make it as clear as we possibly can?
Yes. So we typically, and when I'm looking at this, what this probably tells me is that there was a reroute that took place. And so whoever was inputting that route, the total in totality on that route, put that into the system that day. But it will spit out every Wednesday the same route sheet that obviously is here.
And then the driver uses that existing route sheet, making notations with like a pen on it on future days, right?
Correct.
And this is the version Juan Lee used on October 5th.
Correct.
Okay. Let me just draw your attention to one thing in particular. In other words, well, let me ask you this. How many blanks does this route sheet have for stops at the landfill? I mean, not how many notations are made, how many blanks are there?
For this particular here?
Yeah.
Well, typically the drivers only pick up 2 loads. Very rarely that they would pick up 3, but there would be obviously room for 1 more if he took a load to the landfill.
Okay. And in terms of when this route sheet says that he got to the landfill for the second time, what does it say there on October 5th?
It says that he got there at 10:12.
Now, going to state 66, if we compare that to the GPS printout from October 5th, what does that say?
It says 10:12.
All right, so those are in alignment, right?
Yes.
And this is the route sheet that was used on October 5th of 2022.
Correct.
No further questions, Ron.
I was just curious, Mr. Matz, since Mr. Dean was talking about what's in alignment and what's not. On State's Exhibit 65. Oh, sorry. Thought I had it turned on. On State's Exhibit 65, I was wondering, there are a lot of hand-marked things on it, but you said that you believe that the 7/6 date was input because there was some change to the route. Right?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know what that change was?
Well, what I'm assuming is that, so
No, I mean, what I'm asking is if you particularly know that there was a change or not, or are you just speculating?
I would be speculating.
And it's the same thing here, that whenever you're relying on these records from your computer at your office, okay, I'm going to assume you weren't riding with Mr. Lee that day,
That's correct.
So all you can do is rely on these records, correct?
Yes, sir.
So if there's any discrepancy or any issue or anything that's not correct in them, then you would be relying on faulty information, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's all the questions I got. Thank you.
Anything further from this witness?
Tell me what you know, why do route sheets get changed? I mean, Mr. Hilliard got you to say that you would be speculating, but how long have you been in solid waste removal?
Since 19 BC, 1976.
Why does a route sheet get changed?
Typically, a route sheet may change. The route sheet doesn't change. What changes would be what we have an exception list. So, for example, if a stop would come on or come off, it would just be notated in the front of the route sheet.
Okay. In any case, this route sheet is the one that was printed out and used by hand on October 5th, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't have any further questions, Judge.
May this witness be released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, sir, you are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, the state may call its next witness.
Donard Johnson.
The evidence you should give the court and jury in the trial of this issue should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes. Step this way, please.
All right, good morning.
Good morning. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury, sir?
My name is Donard Johnson, with Waste Management. I've been there over 23 years in the business.
And is waste management different from Waste Pro?
That's correct. We're considered WM.
What does WM do?
Before you go further, Mr. Johnson, will you spell your first name and last name?
It's Donard, Donnard, and last name Johnson, Johnnson.
All right, thank you.
It's Donard, not Donard.
Donard.
I need to apologize to you for mispronouncing your name for the past 2 years. Okay. What is your position at WM?
I'm the senior district manager for the coastal sites.
And what are your duties in that position?
I run the overall operation, environmental safety, compliance, and also the P&L.
Does that include oversight of landfill operations?
That's correct.
Does WM operate landfills?
Yes, sir.
How many landfills do you oversee in one capacity or another?
3.
And what are they?
One in Savannah, that's a Superior landfill, and 2 in Ridgeland, South Carolina.
All right. You mentioned that you've been with, you said you've been with waste management for a long, long time, or did you mean in the waste management field there?
So I worked for waste management in the early 2000s. And I departed 3 years and then went back to work.
Can you describe the positions you've held and how you've worked your way up in this industry over the years?
I started out as a heavy equipment operator. Then I worked my way up the rank as a site supervisor, operation manager, and district manager, and then a senior district manager.
And that's the position that you're in today, right?
Yes, sir.
Were you involved in the operation of the Waste Management Superior landfill in Chatham County in November of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you remember meeting with me in my office maybe a month or two ago?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember me asking you for just kind of the basics of how landfills work?
Yes, sir.
Because I didn't really know anything about landfills. And do you remember referring me to a YouTube video produced by the company you work for, Waste Management?
Yes, sir.
You told me this is like 2 minutes and it'll kind of get you up to speed on landfills generally.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that because you didn't want to take an hour to walk me through it, or what?
Well, well, just everybody so you could really understand what a landfill consists of versus what they call a dump.
What's the difference between a landfill and a dump?
Well, a landfill is just highly engineered operation, and a dump is where you pull the waste off somewhere or in a hole.
Do you think if the jury were to watch that video, it would help them in their understanding of your testimony?
Yes, sure.
Do you see in front of you a disc labeled as State's Exhibit 68?
Yes.
I'd like to open that up and just show you the first frame or two and see if you can tell us what that is. And I'm going to do this on the screen.
Finding a suitable site for a landfill can be...
All right, I'm pausing it just 4 seconds in. Is this the video that you referred me to?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would introduce this disc as State's Exhibit 68 and ask to publish it to the jury.
I don't have an objection, Judge.
Finding a suitable site for a landfill can be complex. Landfill operators will work with regulators to be sure the new facility is located in the right place. Some places, like properties near wetlands, will be carefully evaluated for any environmental concerns. Impacts on nearby traffic will be analyzed. The site will also be evaluated to understand the land, groundwater, and surface water in the vicinity. Community feedback is important to consider, and meeting environmental and land use standards are a must. Once the site is approved by the regulator, the first step is to follow permit plans for sound construction. The second step is to secure the base of the landfill to provide a stable base for the liner. A two-phase composite liner is installed on the base and sides of the landfill. Leachate, a natural occurrence when waste is in contact with water, is collected through a system of drains, pumps, pipes, and hoses that move leachate away from the landfill. The leachate collection system will act as an effective biological filter by removing excess moisture from the bottom of the landfill. A groundwater monitoring system is installed to ensure the landfill does not impact groundwater at the site. The monitoring system acts as an alert in case additional measures may be needed to protect neighboring properties. Groundwater quality is protected at all times. Access to the site is carefully controlled for safety, and waste is screened by appropriateness as required. The landfill is ready to receive waste that has not been recycled. Equipment compacts the waste each day before daily cover, soil or tarps, is placed to avoid potential littering and odor. Gas wells are installed to capture methane generated by the waste. Once full, the landfill is covered with a cover system approved by the regulator. Groundwater continues to be monitored, and methane gas is collected and destroyed, or turned into energy or fuel. When the landfill stops accepting waste, regulators will approve its closure and will monitor its safety for 30 years or as required by the regulators. Then, controls will be put in place to keep the property secure for the future. The property surrounding the closed landfill can be used for commercial or industrial use. But commonly, the property is used for green space, suitable for recreation or habitat conservation. We strongly support wildlife habitat conservation at our landfills through our partnership with the Wildlife Habitat Council.
Now, with that little bit of background, let me ask you this: what happens when a solid waste removal truck, a garbage truck, shows up at the landfill with a load, and it's going to deposit that load at the landfill? Can you just walk us through it step by step, from the moment that truck turns in to, and we'll go specifically with Waste Management Superior Landfill. What happens?
So the truck enter the landfill through the main gate, proceed to the scales, which we call the gatehouse. The truck will get weighed in. Their weight will captured, and from there they proceed to the tipping floor, and that's the area they eject the waste and it gets processed.
What happens? Let's go back to the scale. Truck comes in, goes to the scale to get weighed, right? And you're looking for the weight, the combined weight of the truck itself and the garbage on it, right?
That's correct.
Is there ever a circumstance where the truck just gets to bypass the scale initially?
No.
Okay. And then you said it goes to I think the tipping field, is that right?
Tipping floor.
Tipping floor. What is the tipping floor in some more detail?
That's where the truck goes to eject the load and it gets processed.
And how does a truck eject the load? Does it depend on the type of truck? Or what?
Depend on the type of truck. Front end loader, they have a blade in the back where they push it out from the back, and same with a residential truck. A rolled off trucks. The bed will raise and the doors open and eject the load.
And you said at that point the trash gets processed, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Before we get into what that means, let me ask you, what happens with the truck from that point? Where does the truck go?
Once the truck ejects its load, it pulls back up out of the way and head back to the front gate.
And what happens at the front gate?
Certain trucks, their weight is stored in the system, so they don't have to weigh back out. They'll just exit the landfill.
What if the truck's weight is not stored in the system?
Then the truck will have to go back to the outbound scale and get weighed out.
And how do you calculate? Well, are trucks or solid waste removal companies charged like by the load?
By the ton, it gets calculated by the computer.
And how does the computer calculate?
Weigh the in weight and the empty weight.
Okay, so weight of the truck with the trash minus weight of the empty truck gives you the total tonnage.
That's correct.
And you charge based off that.
That's correct.
Okay, so the truck's gone at this point, right? At the point that we're at.
That's correct.
Okay, let's go back to the trash at the tipping field and what it means for that trash to get processed. Can you tell us about that? What happens to the trash from there?
So we have a series of bulldozers that pushes the waste to the compactor, and the compactor has cleat wheels, and that spread the waste and pulverize the waste.
Is the place that the trash is pushed by the bulldozers, does it have any particular name that you refer to?
Landfill cell.
Tell me about landfill cells.
It's a general area that we put the waste in layers.
And do you use the same cell all the time?
Until it's up to the approved height.
And then what happens at that point?
Then it's closed out.
What is that? What does it mean to close out a cell?
Well, no more waste can be deposited in that area because it's at the approved elevation.
What do you do to close it out?
We apply dirt, 2 feet of dirt over that area and vegetate it.
What does it mean to vegetate it? You use
Plant
a lot of
grass.
technical terms. I'm going to keep hitting you with what does it mean?
Plant grass.
Okay, at that point, you're done with that cell.
Done with that area. That's correct.
About how big is a typical landfill cell? And maybe it varies too.
It varies.
Answer that, but
It could be 10 acres, 12 acres, or 13 acres.
okay. Now, how long will you use a particular cell for?
It also varies on the tonnage that comes in. More tonnage, then that cell generally gets filled quicker. Less tonnage, it opens a little bit longer. So around 3 years, the most.
Okay. And is the landfill big enough that you've allowed for multiple cells and you can kind of
Yes.
move around it and
Yes,
use the place over the course of years?
that's correct.
Okay. You mentioned the bulldozer pushing the trash into the landfill cell and then it being compacted by, I think you said a compactor with cleated wheels.
Yes. So we use Caterpillar 836 compactors.
What is the importance of compaction in a landfill? Why bother? Why not just?
Density, fit more in a small space. We sell airspace, so we have to compact and get good density so we could fit more in that area.
Did you say something about there being regulations about how high you can
That's
have
correct.
trash in a cell? Okay. So is it fair to say that the tighter you can get that stuff compacted, the longer you can use that cell under the governing regulations?
That's correct.
These compactors that you described, do you see in front of you a document marked as States Exhibit 69?
Yes.
What is that?
That's a waste compactor.
Is it the type that you were describing?
That's correct.
Does it fairly and accurately depict that machine?
Yes.
And does it accurately capture the weight of that machine?
That's correct.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as States Exhibit 69.
No objection.
All right, 69 is admitted.
All right, so this is the first page from the brochure for this machine, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and you said it's called a CAT 836.
Compactor.
All right. In this image, what is this CAT 836 doing?
Spreading and compacting the waste.
Is this, kind of a look at what that process looked like that you were describing?
Yes, sir.
All right. How much do these things weigh for this brochure?
Some all depends on the wheel. 123,000 pounds or more.
Okay. I'm not going to ask you how many tons that is, because that would require you to do math on the spot. But Fair to say they're heavy?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say that's kind of the point?
That's the point.
You mentioned the rollers, the studded, or I think you said cleated rollers. Is that what you said?
Cleated wheels.
Do we see those in this image?
Yes, sir. Those spikes on the wheels.
Now, what are these wheels made out of?
Steel.
These are not rubber tires.
No, sir.
Okay. And what does that do to the trash?
It cuts up the trash, breaks it down.
And that's kind of what you're going for, right?
Right.
We heard something in that video about daily cover.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us about daily cover? What does that mean?
So daily cover is soil that we have to apply to the waste after our shift is completed.
At the end of the day?
At the end of the day.
Why do you do this?
Because we're regulated to do that, because it helps with odor and wind blowing debris.
How much, so describe the process of applying the daily cover. What does this look like?
So we have a series of ADT trucks that haul the dirt, all the cover soil to the area, and the dozers spread the soil 6 to 8 inches thick.
And this happens every day.
Every day.
And you have to do it under law, right?
Yes, sir. Regulated by the state.
And when is this being done, I guess, in the active cell that you're using at that
That's
time?
correct.
Okay. And in the course of doing this daily cover and spreading this 6 to 8 inches of dirt over the cell, is it fair to say that all the trash in that cell is being compacted once again?
That's correct.
What happens with the daily cover the next morning when you'll reopen?
We remove that daily cover.
And does that also require these compactors with the blade on the front?
The dozer will remove the daily cover.
Is that something different from the compactor?
That's correct.
Are those also pretty heavy?
Yes, between 50 or 60,000 pounds.
Okay. Now, in October of 2022, I think sometime around maybe the 7th or the 8th, did Detective Noble come out to the landfill and make contact with you?
Yes, sir.
And did he ask you whether you could tell him anything about Waste Pro Truck 3909 and where it would have deposited its garbage, its trash on the morning of October 5th, 2022?
Yes.
And were you able to provide him some records about Waste Pro Truck 3909 on that day?
Yes.
And were you able to tell him the general area the garbage from that truck would have been deposited in the landfill on that day?
Yes.
Do you see in front of you the 2-page document marked as State's Exhibit 67?
Yes.
Do you recognize those two documents?
Yes.
Can you tell us what they are?
So one is the scale ticket that we issue the driver once he come in and weigh in. And the other location is where we place the waste.
Yeah, approach. Right now, I'm just asking you about the 2 pages in 67. What are the 2 pages in State's Exhibit 67?
These are the scale tickets.
Okay. How many are there?
2.
And are those scale tickets for Waste Pro Truck 3909 from
That's
October
correct.
5th, 2022?
That's correct.
Okay. So how many times did that truck come to Waste Management Superior Landfill that day?
2 times.
Are those documents created in the ordinary course of business at Waste Management?
Yes.
And are they stored and maintained in the ordinary course of business?
Yes.
And you were able to produce those for Detective Noble when he asked?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would introduce these as State's Exhibit 67.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, can you see this on the screen here? There's one right next to you.
Yes.
Can you walk us through the contents of this document and what it shows, just kind of starting from the top?
So it shows the company logo and the site name and address, and also shows the customer and the date, the account, and the vehicle number. And it also shows the time that the truck entered the scales.
And what time would that be?
6:24.
All right, so that's when it comes in, right, and gets
That's-
weighed?
That's when it comes in.
And what does that operator refer to? Is that the truck operator or the scale?
No,
operator?
that's the scale operator.
All right, someone named R. Bradley, I suppose?
That's correct.
Okay. What else are we seeing on here?
And the gross weight of the truck, the tier weight, and the net and the tonnage that the truck has on it.
All right, so would the gross weight there at the top be
Yeah.
the truck and the trash?
That's correct.
And the tier weight is the
Empty weight.
empty truck?
Yeah.
And the net then is the total tonnage of the
Yeah.
trash? Okay. This is from that truck's early morning 6:25 drop off, right?
That's correct.
Now I see that the in and out times on there say the exact same thing, 6:25:47. Why is that?
That's because the weight is stored in the system, so we were able to print a ticket.
So this is one of those trucks where you had the weight stored that didn't have to stop at the scale empty on the way out.
That's correct.
So it all just kind of happens in one go when it first comes in.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, what does the driver's signature there say? If you can read it.
It's hard to make out.
Moving down to the second page, we could skip all the stuff at the top. Let me just ask you, this is also for 3909 up here?
That's correct.
Okay. And what was the time that this particular load came in on this truck and was weighed?
10:12 a.m.
On October 5th, right?
That's correct.
Do you see in front of you a document marked as State's Exhibit 75?
That's correct.
Have you looked through that document, sir?
Yes.
Can you tell us what it is, if you recognize it?
That's the overall landfill footprint.
Okay. Do these images fairly and accurately depict Waste Management Superior Landfill in Chatham County?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would move this in as State's Exhibit 75.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, in this first image, what is this major road running along the right side from bottom to top?
That looks like 95.
Okay. And then what is this road?
That's Little Neck Road.
All right, so Little Neck Road is the smaller road going over 95 there.
Yes, sir.
Can you is this entire area here on the left side of the screen, is that Waste Management Superior Landfill?
Yes, sir.
All right, moving on to slide 2. Do you mind stepping down and walking us through the different areas we're seeing here from right to left, from the entrance, moving over to the left?
This is the entrance. This is the shop area where we take care of our heavy equipment. This area right here is the gatehouse, the scale house is what we call it. And once a truck gets weighed in, it goes up to the working face area. Here's is our waste to energy plant we have on site. And this area here is our tipping floor area.
Okay. Now, that tipping floor area, is that the tipping floor area that was being used on October 5th of 2022?
That's correct.
It is. Okay. When Detective Noble, when he came out there and asked you if you could identify where that truck would have tipped its load and where the load would have then been shoved to, you said you were able to do that, right?
Yes.
Did he ask you to do anything for him at that point?
He asked us to stop place.
Would you like to rephrase your question?
No, you're on. He's going to relay a question that Detective Neville asked him. The question cannot be a statement offered for the truth or that. So, I mean, the question just can't be hearsay.
Given that over.
Did Detective Noble ask you to do anything?
Stop placing waste area.
Okay. And was he referring to the tipping area or that particular landfill cell that trash was being used to, or what?
The landfill cell.
Okay. And did you do that?
That's correct.
Did that have any impact on y'all's operations?
Yes, it did.
What did y'all have to do at that point?
We had to hire a subcontractor to move our tipping for location, and that was a cost to the company.
Did you have to open up a new landfill cell at that point?
We had an area that still needed some waste, and we're able to relocate to that area.
From that point forward, did you cease depositing trash in the area that you had identified to him?
That's correct.
Can you, on this third slide here, we've zoomed in a little bit. Can you just generally indicate to us where the tipping floor would have been on October 5th, 2022, and where the cell would have been that things were being pushed to?
The tipping floor would have been in this general area.
And that's a dark area
Yeah.
towards the bottom middle.
And the area we were placing waste was on the outside slope.
Okay. Can you tell us on this image like the route that the truck would have taken? And I guess let me ask you this. Is the truck going on this very obvious road along the top, or is it going somewhere else?
It would come up through the top.
Okay, so it's coming up the road
Yep.
on the bottom right,
Yep.
tipping in this brownish area, and then this trash is getting shoved to this cell over here, right?
That's correct.
Now, I think you mentioned something about a slope or a hill.
Well, it's on the outer slope of the landfill.
This being a two-dimensional image, we can't really see a slope.
No.
What we're looking at here, but can you describe to us what the slope is, and what direction it goes?
Well, it's on the outer side, and we're designed to build 3-to-1 slope, so not a steep incline. So you could walk and put tractors on it to mow safely.
Okay. So is it fair to say then that there's, from the center of the image, there's sort of a slope down to this perimeter?
That's
road?
correct.
Okay. Were you involved to one degree or another in providing personnel and equipment for the search once law enforcement began the search?
Yes,
Can you tell us about the personnel and equipment that you all provided?
we provided 2 heavy equipment operator and equipment, and also my operation manager and equipment.
And what were they out there doing?
They were removing the waste and loading it, and moving the waste down on the area that they spread it out and search.
And about how long did people participate in this effort for doing that?
Maybe around 7 days or so.
Did you all have to do this, provide personnel and equipment?
No.
Why did you do it?
Just because of the significance of what happened.
All told, do you have any idea how much money this costs Waste Management to have
Objection, Your Honor, relevance.
to shift operations and then divert personnel and equipment to this effort?
Once we shift operation, it costs us between $70,000 or $80,000 to move the operation.
Were you present at Waste Management Superior Landfill the day that the searchers found equipment?
That's correct. I was in my office.
What do you remember about that day?
My operator called me and said,
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sir, we just don't want you to repeat anything that someone else told you, because that would be hearsay.
At some point, did you get a call that caused you to go out there?
yes,
And were you relieved to hear that the search had been successful?
yes.
One moment, please. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ewing.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Johnson, how are you?
I'm doing great, sir.
My name is Martin Hilliard. Hope you're having a good day. I just got some follow-up questions for you. Your exact title at Waste Management was what again?
A senior district manager.
So, what's the district you're a manager of?
A coastal.
And which goes from where to where?
South Carolina and Georgia.
Okay. And is there 3 landfills in those
Yes.
areas?
2 in South Carolina and 1 in Georgia.
So those are what you manage?
Yes,
Those 3, correct, for the company? All right. And just out of curiosity, are there any other landfills in the Savannah area?
They're Republic landfill.
Okay, and where's that located at?
I believe that's close by the airport.
And that's the only other competitor you have in the area?
That's correct.
And approximately, and we're talking about the Little Neck Road landfill that y'all have, correct?
Yes.
Approximately how many trucks come in and go out of there every day?
Some days could be 400 or 500 trucks per day.
And are there how many different commercial waste companies dump there?
A lot.
Okay. And when I say commercial waste companies, that's what I mean is people who are engaged in picking and removing waste. Can be for both businesses and private, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So do you have both private residual waste removal companies that dump there?
Yes.
Do you have both, commercial, which would be like businesses?
Yes.
Okay. So you have basically both.
Yes.
Correct? All right. And is it fair to say that most of them have similar equipment?
Meaning?
A waste removal truck of some sort?
Yeah. Some comes in a waste removal truck and some is your everyday pickup trucks with a dump trailer.
All right. So you do both, private?
Yes.
Private dumping as well?
Yes.
Okay. And I assume you charge for that as well?
That's correct.
So it's not just the big companies that come in and do it. Private
That's correct.
citizens come in and do it.
Yes.
and anyone can come in and dump in that facility.
Yes, sir.
And it has both, I guess, residential garbage as well as commercial garbage.
That's correct.
And anytime I'm not stating the accurate, being inaccurate about your business, please correct me, okay? Now let's talk about, I guess it's the, what was it you called the area you're dumping in or dumping waste in?
It's a landfill cell.
A landfill cell. Okay. How many landfill cells do you have operating at one time in the dump?
Just one.
Okay. So with regard to that landfill cell that's operating, any and all trucks that come in there dump in that landfill cell, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. What's the furthest away, if you know, what's the furthest away you have trucks coming in?
Just around the surrounding area.
Okay. So let's say as far away as surrounding counties, maybe?
That's correct.
Okay. And again, you're not like you're a private company engaged in the landfill business. So you don't turn people away just because they're from out of county, do you?
We just don't take out of state waste.
Right. So it's just whatever waste you got's coming from Georgia, right?
Coming from Georgia, that's correct.
All right. So you're using one landfill cell area at a time, correct?
That's correct.
And I assume from what I have heard you testify to, you use this landfill cell area and you said it's 10 to 12 to 13 acres big.
That's correct.
All right. And everything that comes in gets dumped there.
That's correct.
And how long do you use that landfill cell for usually?
It all depends on the volume of the waste coming in. How much waste is coming in, then it'll fill up quicker. If the volume decreases, it'll stay. That general area will stay a little bit longer.
In general, how long does it take you to move from one landfill cell to the next?
2 to 3 years.
Okay. So in this particular case, the landfill cell you were using, how long have y'all been using that one?
We've been using that area a little bit over 2 years.
Okay. So at that point in time, it was about a 2-year landfill cell, and you were having 400 to 500 trucks a day from the surrounding area dump in that landfill cell, correct?
That's correct.
Was there any other area you were dumping in the landfill at that point in time?
No, sir.
Okay. So, and the only other competitor you have in town is Republic near the airport, correct?
That's correct.
And if you don't know, you don't know. Does any private sanitation companies dump there?
Yes.
Okay. Which companies dump there?
So you have Waste Pro, Atlantic Waste, Pro Disposal. So we got quite a bit.
Okay. And when I say, do they dump residential waste as well as commercial waste?
That's correct.
Okay. So, and what's the difference between residential waste versus commercial waste?
Well, one's household garbage, and the other one is construction demolition debris.
Okay. So some of these companies are paid or engaged or contracted to go collect people's household waste, the garbage cans you see along the road, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you know of at least 3 companies that do that and they dump in there, correct?
Yeah, and a lot more.
Okay. We'll just stick with what you know. Let's not speculate, okay? So you know of at least 3 companies. There probably are more, though, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you said it was October 8th was when all waste in this particular landfill cell was stopped, correct?
October 7th.
October 7th?
That's correct.
So all of the waste that came in to your facility for the 5th, 6th, and 7th until it was stopped from Savannah and surrounding areas was dumped in this landfill cell, correct?
That's correct.
Thank you, sir. That's all the questions I have.
Can you redirect?
When you were indicating to Detective Noble the area that that truck 3909 would have deposited its load, or I guess where that load would have ultimately ended up after being moved from the tipping field. Area,
Tipping floor.
tipping floor. Were you indicating towards just like the entirety of the 10 to 12 acre
No,
landfill cell, or
No.
to a more precise area within it?
yeah, it's just a more precise area.
About how big was that area that you were pointing out to him, if you could estimate?
Normally, we work in a 50 by 50 area.
And was Quentin ultimately found in that area?
That's correct.
Just to follow up, you're talking about the tipping floor. So again, the tipping floor, the big piece of equipment that we saw. When you're using a landfill cell and you have the tipping floor, I assume that compactor runs back and forth over the trash, compacting it, correct?
That's correct.
And it picks it up and moves it, correct?
Well, the dozers, well, everybody knows that bulldozers will take the waste to the compactor, and then the compactor spreads the waste and compact it.
Okay. So when you say the bulldozer, everyone knows this. Let's just assume I don't know anything about landfills. I don't know anything about how it works. Okay. So, but what we're saying is all the waste that gets dumped is compacted, dozed, moved, pushed, compacted. How many times does this happen?
Once the waste is pushed in that general area, it don't get moved, it's just get compacted.
Okay. And so when the waste gets dumped, it gets dozed, moved, pushed, compacted, and then that's, I guess you start doing what we call a daily
Cover.
cover. Okay. And every day you have to cover it, and every day you have to uncover it.
That's correct.
And once you uncover it, do you dump more and do that again?
That's correct.
All right. So you compact it, dose it, move it, cover it, uncover it. The next day, dump more, compact it, dose it, move it, cover it. Next day, uncover it, do the same thing again, and then stop, correct?
That's correct. Once we reach our general height.
Thank you.
Mr. Dean?
No question.
Thank you. And may this be released.
Yeah, sure. Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Johnson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are excused. And so, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, it's been about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes. I think it's a good time for a short break. We're going to break for 15 minutes. Please don't discuss the case. Don't do any research, and we will see you back in 15.
Jury
Hey, B2. What's up?
Hey, what's up? What's up?
What's happening, man?
Just a 15-minute break, 15-minute break, 20-minute break. Why not? So we had exciting testimony from the garbage landfill people.
Yeah, well, wasn't too exciting for me, but
It was so exciting. I think the only thing I was thinking about was if the defense is trying to like say that there are plenty of other places the trucks could have picked up from, and thus, maybe Mr. Danny Youngkin could have dropped off the remains in another dumpster that showed up in the same location that was in. And I thought that was the main reason why he's kind of going like, with this record here and this route here. And when the defense crosses, and while the prosecution's more like saying like, no, it only came from this landfill, this garbage dumpster, which kind of makes sense because
but I mean, there are only certain dumpsters are going to get dropped. I mean, they go, like, come on now.
Yeah, but the fact is that they're trying to get at anything because she literally admitted that she went to the dumpster and dumped something in the dumpster.
Right. She already said she was there dumping that shrimp pasta shit or whatever. So she's already admitted to being there.
So her only hope is to basically like state, there could be other dumpsters. And Danny could have, while going to work, decided to, toss the remains of Quentin Simon in a dumpster. You know what I mean? Like, and I covered up for him or something, or something to that effect. I don't know. Or Danny grabbed the phone and tried to frame me. I'm a little behind, but why is this arrogant defense attorney, in my opinion, wasted the time of the trash truck? I just explained. That's what I think the trash truck thing was doing. Yeah, this case is very disturbing.
There's a lot of details in here that we didn't really see much of when we were covering it before.
Yeah, it is a disturbing case because you have basically the murder of a child, and by their own, allegedly by their own mother. There's drug use by the mother and the boyfriend. Then you have also YouTube that tossed themselves into this situation. It's a very messy case. The defense is trying to discredit the only defense he has is trying to discredit the witness. Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. He could be the attorney for Sarah Boone. That one's a little bit tougher, I have to say. Especially with her videotaping her crime. Just a thought with Sarah Boone. That's
I don't really give a fuck about that lady.
She's whack job.
1900 lawyers later, and she finally got her shit together.
Yeah, I mean,
and they gave her a 15-year plea. They said, "Here, we'll give you 15 years." She would have done 7, probably 5 at the most. And
5 actually.
Her dumb fucking ass was like, "Now, I want to take it to trial." Fucking
actually, she would have done 5. And the funny thing is that she served already 4.
Time she could have been out. I was gonna say, and like I said, if it was 50%, she would have got out in 7 years with good time, maybe 5.
Yeah, but then she would have probably gotten time served all the time she spent in jail. So she might have been out in 2 years from now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know why the fuck she didn't take it. Probably because she ain't got a lawyer to advise her.
Well, because she's arrogant. She's just what I mean? Like, she thinks that Sarah Boone person. Yeah, that Sarah Boone person thinks that she's gonna, win that case. And like the moment
they didn't even give Leilani one, I don't think they even offered her a plea agreement.
Yeah. Which is kind of shocking. They offered the Sarah Boone a plea deal, but not, this one. I would say like you probably have a little bit of better defense on this case than you do with the Sarah Boone one, where she literally.
Well, I was just saying. Sorry, baby. Go ahead.
No, you go. I wasn't talking.
It just really depends on the DA. I mean, that's all,
Mm-hmm. I understand that, but it's hard to hear some of the testimony to prove that. Yeah, the problem is like, I think the prosecution has done so much of a detailed case on this route of this garbage truck and Leilani's route. It's kind of like one of those battles that seems futile. Like they got the GPS, they got the 360, they got the route for the garbage truck, they got the timelines for the garbage, where it's being dumped. I mean, like, it's a pretty detailed. Like, there's really little holes that you could punch in a scenario timeline like this with the garbage. And the problem also is their client changed their story 3 times. First, lying, not knowing anything, then says blames the boyfriend, which, by the way, if you're a juror and you hear that, be like, wait a minute, so your son gets murdered by your boyfriend and you try to cover it up for him? That doesn't make you sound sympathetic. That makes you sound like you're either, trying to frame Mr. Danny Youngkin or you're trying to save your ass by lying. Either or third, which that was actually 2 the same, or you're a heartless mother who just basically rather pick your boyfriend than your own child. Not a good scenario for Miss Leilani's son.
Not at all.
And and even let's say she, and she lied to the cops multiple times, and those are going to be held against her. There's a lot of credible witnesses. You have the FBI agents that came. The female FBI agent, I felt like, was the nail in the coffin. The male one was kind of more combative, which I don't think that was actually a smart move to be so combative for being crossed by the attorney. I get what happens because, we obviously, this guy's trying to punch holes in your reason and all that stuff. I get it, but it doesn't look good when the jury looks at it and people look at it. It kind of makes it tough, but didn't they take the death penalty off the table for Leilani? Actually, I'm not sure if they took it intentionally off. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the death penalty was ever on the table, to be honest with you. Let me see. Let me see. Since reinstatement death penalty next 23 minutes was able to execute electrician. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't want to put a death sentence case in because they don't have 100% share of it, and it's people are a little more reluctant to do a sentence you to death in comparison to sentence you in life imprisonment. Maybe it was like a tactical decision, like in Georgia. I don't know if there's a pause, but either way, maybe they just decided not to really do that. No, I think it's malice murder, felony murder, lying to the cops, like 14 or like 13 charges of that, and disposal of the remains. I don't think they proved their case for malice murder, but I think they proved their case for disposal of the remains, lying, and what seems like felony murder. So, I mean, whatever. You have to have a solid evidence like Wade Wilson. Yeah, like that guy is guilty of sin. This case, you could probably a jury's a little, there could be some doubt. You know what I mean? Like there's always Danny a Youngkin situation. It could have been a situation where some jurors think, well, maybe if I was, thought of defense, I'm surprised that Miss Leilani did not do was just basically try to get a lesser charge of disposal of the remains type of deal, and be like, well, he died naturally. Something happened. I panicked. I was on drugs. I disposed of the remains. That's why I lied. Make up some sort of excuse to that, but I guess that's a tactical decision by our defense. Maybe they thought she wouldn't be very sympathetic to the jury, finding out that she's banging the drug dealer, cheating on her boyfriend and not taking care of her kids, and is on drugs. If this was a person had a model citizen and this happened, that'd probably be a good defense actually, but whatever. Just my personal opinion based upon my own thoughts and myself. State has been on hold, but they've been doing a lot since last month and have many more before the end of the year to several states. Okay. They are forcing everyone to testify except minors under 18, so I'm sure the dealer will. No, the dealer, I think, wanted not to be on camera. He was like, please, can I not be on camera? No, you should be on camera, sir. You can go right on camera. Toy did miss. Let me see. Because of the vomit, I have kept wondering if the baby choked in his sleep. I've wondered that too. I've wondered if there was some sort of event that happened. Kid starts choking and dies, and then she's in her drug fuel manic state decides, oh shit, the best course of action is to, dispose of the remains. No one's going to believe me, blah, 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 blah. And makes up this cockamamie story about shrimp pasta and all that stuff. You're not really thinking too clearly while you're on multiple substances. That's my thought on that. But then you know what? She didn't put that as her defense. Her defense is trying to blame other people. And the problem is, if she actually took some kind of responsibility early on, and actually that was her defense, she probably wouldn't get that much time in jail. She'd probably get some kind of sympathy from the judge, and she probably wouldn't do like life in prison or whatever. Who knows? But she decided to lie to people, lie to her family, lie to the authorities, waste time and money, and also basically, in my opinion, disrespect the remains of this poor child by throwing him in a dumpster and then deciding to, lie about it and forcing, the state to basically pay to find it. So that sympathy is gone if that was to happen, because she didn't show any regards for her child. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's the problem with that defense, and I don't think it's a good idea. And let's say she did say that defense. I mean, the prosecution would be like, well, she would have to testify, number one, and probably two, the prosecutor would tear her to pieces, be like, oh, so you disposed of your child like trash and garbage, this child that you love so much. Probably that would be objected to, but you probably get maybe some other form he would think about doing it. I would think that would be bad for his business. LOL. Serious though, can they force him to take the stand? He can plead the fifth. I'm sure he can plead the fifth about him stealing. Maybe they gave him a plea deal. You know what I mean? Like, I doubt they really care about him dealing dime bags in a trailer park in comparison to a murder trial. So they might have gave him a plea deal, like some sort of like protection or something, where they're not going to prosecute him from being a drug dealer for what he says in testifying on the stand. The problem is that the defense is going to try to rip him a new asshole about going into his background of being a drug dealer and try to discredit his credibility. Yeah, but she rode the Origel story until the wheels fell off. Yeah, pretty much, and that's not going to help her. If she would have went forward and didn't do that stupid Origel story, or maybe if she would have had some sort of brain in her head to call the cops as soon as Quentin Simon was, deceased or was dying or whatever, and an ambulance came, guess what? Probably there would be sympathy for this lady in sentencing, and she wouldn't do that much time. Instead, what she did was, after the child was deceased, decided to hide her crime. So I think like she's pretty guilty so far, unless the defense does a bit has some great witness, in my opinion, so far. And it's biased because we only heard the witnesses from the prosecution, but I think the prosecution has, besides the character witnesses, the psychic and the babysitter, I was like, what the hell are you doing with these people? But everything else, like the science and everything, is pretty good. Oh, Queen, you got a super chat for $50.
Sorry, talking to the lawyer. Give me a sec.
Okay. Stopping by to say hello to everyone and can't wait for this trial to be over. Missing you guys. Well, I'm hoping I think this trial is probably going to be done by probably Monday or Tuesday, to be honest with you. They've been pretty good at scheduling. They've been doing all-day depositions. But look,
all right, sorry.
You got a super chat.
Yeah, I heard you say that. Give me just a second. I'll read it out. Virginia's grandma ×3 with a $50 super sticker just stopped by to say hello to everyone, and I can't wait for this trial to be over. Missing you guys. Yeah, I can't wait for it to be over either. It's kind of, it's heavy. It's every day. That was really, really sweet of you. Thank you so very much. And to the one that sent the PayPal, that was very, very nice of you. I appreciate that. I know there's a lot of, in my opinion, fucked up GoFundMe's going around right now. In my opinion, that don't need to be donated to at all. But
Dolly.
Opinion.
Dolly. Sorry. I had a little.
Yeah, you had a hair in your throat.
I had a hair on my throat. It's, you know.
I mean, some people think it's funny and hilarious and shit, and that it's all fucking fun and games, and it's something to joke about. I don't find it funny or a joke at all.
Yeah, I think it's not funny to basically
the money that'll go right into the pocket because he's all he is. He was named in mine too, so I didn't see no law. I didn't see no fucking fun setup when he was named in my frivolous lawsuit.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. People act like that's a big fucking deal that these folks were named. Well, fuck, all the same folks were named in mine. This is, in my opinion, this is the same one Betty already filed that got dismissed.
Yeah.
And it's a state fucking thing. They're trying to make it federal, but don't listen to Betty. In my opinion, she doesn't know what she's talking about. It's state. They want it to go federal. Yes, Dolly got a GoFundMe set up, and he set it up to fight for people's legal rights. Fuck out of here. Hell no.
Yeah. Also, he was full support of the lawsuit and tried to shut Queen Bee up. In my opinion, yeah, he was actually. He was actually the first one to release.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who said, "Oh, your GoFundMe or your PayPal fundraiser is, it's bogus, it's fake, or it's not going towards the lawyer." There was all kinds of lies going on about it.
Yeah.
The latest one was I bought my daughter's car out of it, according to them. And then they know, Savage goes on with the make, model, and the bullshit. Like that she knows where the location of it is. That's the last part. That's the last thing that was said about my PayPal fund.
No, he's not donating anything to them. He's doing it for himself because his thumbnail was put into into the
Well,
filing.
then he better read the fucking filing that's going on now.
Yeah.
In my case, because he's in that too. So several times. As a matter of fact, the whole case revolves around Dolly.
Yeah.
The whole fucking frivolous lawsuit revolves around Dolly and whether they slept together or not. Because that's what she focal pointed it on.
Mm-hmm.
So what the fuck? Why didn't he have a goddamn go? Why didn't he have a GoFundMe for that?
I think he did.
I don't think so. Well, you know what? Maybe he did. I think he did set one up and nobody donated to it.
I think
donated about $1,000.
I think he did have I mean, I get confused because remember the whole the crime con.
Just last week, Betty said my fucking PayPal fundraiser. As soon as she seen that somebody filled it, she was mad as hell and started saying I bought my kid's car out of it. I bought boats and houses and cars and you name it, I've gotten it. Dolly said I bought dogs with it.
Yeah, so Sticky's correct. He did. It only lasted
Maybe
a week.
should I do that? Should I do the same thing?
Dolly set up a lawyer fund for that shit in Savannah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that was the Savannah lawyer.
The money because he had a public defender.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking stand sewage, but she called that shit out right from the jump. Did you guys see JLR made a new song?
I seen the song. It was quite hilarious.
I'm still gonna play it later.
It was funny actually to me. I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, Catherine, she's a joke. She had 250 people in there listening to her. People don't give a fuck anymore. They're tired of listening to her bullshit.
Well, you know what? People get tired of the same old stuff all the time. They want to hear new things. There's many other subjects to talk about. You know what I mean? It's just like other things. If you hear
there's
too
much going on, but she's worried about being crawled up my ass. It's fucking funny to me.
Yeah.
No, Stevie, it's worse than the WAP. But he's challenging them. In my opinion, it's a challenge because he said, "You don't know about the RICO." Seth trying to get a RICO. He said, "I know about the RICO."
The RICO.
Have you heard JLR's new tune?
I heard it.
Yeah, but you know what, PK Empire, just be quiet about that. Let her write the judge so she can look stupid.
Yeah, I find it very interesting, certain aspects, but I'll keep quiet about it. But yeah, the whole situation is kind of crazy, to be honest with you. But King of the Rico, yes, he said he was the King of the Rico.
Yes, he did. He said he's the king of the Rico. I fuck it. I laugh and I'm like, oh my god. No, I'm not gonna play it during the trial. I'm sorry, honey.
No, we can't. But
I mean, we're having a
yeah,
sidebar as it is, and I don't really even like to do that. But you know what? I don't have time usually, and then by the time I get ready to go live at nighttime, I'm busy or my voice is out and I can't. So
yeah, you're like doing 9-hour streams now.
yeah, so it's I was gonna say, so I haven't had time to, but I got something. You look, I got something I'm gonna drop and it's gonna fucking
yeah. But honestly, I think like the trial is a lot more important than a lot of this like side shit these people do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, this is important, and a lot of the shit that got started was over this case.
Yeah, and I think like it's good that people cover it and talk about this case because at the end of the day, everyone claimed that they cared about this poor child, and I'm not seeing that from some people who claim that they cared. To be honest with some people. And they're not showing the proper respect or anything. It's just my opinion.
Oh, bro, you're never gonna catch up. I'll try to get you caught up, but you went on vacation. You was gone too long.
You got a weekend that's only like we're being named, like you're like there's people being named part of a RICO action, a civil RICO action.
Baby, you ain't got to put yourself on camera if you don't want to. I'm the only one that can see you, but you don't have to. It's okay. Yeah. It's up to you. It's completely up to you, but you're up here with us, baby. Francine.
Me? Oh, me. Hiya.
Hi, baby. How are you?
Oh, my dad.
Yeah, you're
Am
up
I
here
really
with
up there?
us.
Oh,
yeah, you're up here.
Oh, well, how are you lot?
Hold on 1 second. We got feedback. Can you pause your YouTube?
Oh, hang on. I think I have. Hang on. Yeah, it's paused.
Is it? Okay. It might just be like a little bit of the oh, you know what? I bet it's the echo.
Yeah. Is it all right now?
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Right. Just want to say, right, I love the Hive. I love it. Yeah. And I'm only going to say, do you know what? Right. I was flip-flopping around channels since the beginning of the year. The Riley Strain, the Maddie Soda, and then this, and I kept coming back to the Hive, and then off that mental bird. Whatever she is, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I know who you're talking about, girl.
The bed bug born whatever, right? Right, and I was thinking, I was watching her one day. I was like, what? All people in America like that? What the fuck? But obviously you're not. I was like, she's crazy lady. So I just wanted to come up. I don't know much about the Leilani Simon.
Yeah, that's it.
What I've been doing, I've been watched all the drama from all the circus act and all that before. Yeah. That's how I caught up with that mad cow. And then I'm sort of thinking, oh my days. And I actually don't know, in my opinion only, allegedly, right, how many people
right, gotta cover yourself.
How many people actually believe it? You know what? When she said the story, I know it's about the trial, so I'll come back another day. But when she said about the trial, that she said that was she doing accounts when she was 5 and somebody else was 3? My cat even turned around and went, what? What the fuck is she on about? I mean, and people believe that. Is she going to some mental asylum there and getting the people that no offense to people that are in mental asylum, by the way. But I haven't got a clue. I don't got a clue. Do you know what? I won't talk about, obviously, you're on this trial, and I'm just going to carry on watching you back. But I just wanted to jump up and say, I can't believe I finally got on here. Because remember, I'm in Tenerife, originally from England. And
right.
So
I had no idea. You were from England. No clue.
What part? Wait, Tim, what part of England are from then?
I don't know. You're definitely not the Queen's English, that's for sure.
I ain't London, definitely not. And I know I'm definitely not Queen's English. I'm from a place, Petty AF will know, it's from a place right down the south called Southend. And they say it's sick people come from. Well, I think it's 20 should be living down there. because I ain't thick. And I sound
Okay,
it, but I'm not.
So someone says Croydon or Manchester. Some people are guessing, or Liverpool.
Oh,
Some people
Southend, it's Essex.
Southend
Manchester,
what?
you're having a laugh. Whoever said that?
J
Yeah.
Fox said Manchester.
Liverpool. Seeker said Liverpool.
You know what? If you said that to a Southend person, I'd go, what the fuck are you talking about? No, sorry, chat. I'm not. I'm from
Listen, hold
Southend
on.
on the sea. Look it up.
Essex. Is it Essex?
Essex. We've got a really common accent, as you can hear.
Yes. And then Cappy said Birmingham. Is it Birmingham? Where are you from?
No, Birmingham. Birmingham. No, not Birmingham. We talk like Cockneys, but worse. Because I live in Spain, right? So we speak Spanish, but my accent with speaking Spanish confuses the hell out of everyone. They haven't got a clue,
I
right? I speak all the words, right? And I drop things here and there, the letters and the vowels and all that, because I haven't got a clue about them. And I get by, right? But my accent, they're like, what? What? Because they've got a really like.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Oh no, hola, ¿cómo está? No, I can talk Spanish, but I'm not doing it.
Like, huh? We
No,
did.
manana, right? Manana was definitely invented on this island, right? Because I think they're either paused or stepping back, walking backwards, because they are the slowest people ever you could ever imagine, right? It's manana is literally whenever. I mean, the banks don't even open the right time. That's 9, half past 9, don't really matter. That's how it is, literally like that. So it's really laid back for me. So I like that sort of thing. Well, listen, I really wanted to get up here. I'm so pleased. So listen, can I come up another day, Queen, a weekend when you're talking about the other crap going on?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Listen, and I hope you're feeling better. Are you feeling better?
You know what? I am getting a little bit better, but let me tell you, I got to tell you guys something. Listen, last night we woke up out of a dead sleep, right? And there was like a weird smell in our house. I couldn't figure out what it was. I called the power company and they came out and checked, and we had 6 small gas leaks. I had to have my gas shut off.
No, that's dangerous.
Serious, yeah.
Well,
So
they say it's a silent killer, don't they? Normally, gas. You're really lucky, Queen. Oh my God, you're really lucky.
Well, yeah, they said they were real tiny, they were real small and stuff, but I had shut the heat off and like the air and the heat off and like shut it all down and opened up the windows. And so they said that's why there was like they were real small, but they were enough to that we smelled it in the middle of the night. So,
well, my family, my ex-family,
came out and they came out and let us know that they shut the gas off and let us know they fixed it and got it all taken care of. So it's all good to go. We're good. It's all good. I mean, I just up in the middle of the night was kind of scary, you know what I mean? But we're all good. It's all fixed. Everything's good to go.
Go road back.
It just was a little scary.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, my darlings. B Tim or B Jim today? What are you?
Petty, you're up here with us.
B Jim.
Okay. Hey, whereabouts in England am I from? B Jim today. What are you?
What did you say?
Somebody's got feedback. No, somebody's got feedback.
It's me. I'm going. 2 seconds.
Yeah, you got to pause your YouTube, Petty, because you got feedback.
I know I should know better, shouldn't I? Sorry.
Petty.
Yeah, I'm all right. What did you say? Sorry.
I said, what part of the UK do you think I'm originally from?
Clapton.
No, Southend. You were nearer than the others. You were nearer than the others.
Yeah. You sound. You sound. Oh my God, you're beautiful.
Oh, shut up! Do you know what? I haven't even filled it. I love you. I like her. She's nice.
I'm not nice.
Oh, thank you. I'm starting putting the camera well away. I didn't know I had the camera on. Listen, I was waiting for you to come up because I was thinking you're probably the only one that will really actually know that I'm from not from up north.
No, I'm from up north. She's from down south.
Oh, bless her. All right, listen, hi. Thank you for letting me up. Can I come up when you're up on the weekend then? Is that all right?
No.
Absolutely. Well, I'll probably have, like I said, I'm going to try to have one later because I got, they're saying you are smoking hot, girl.
Oh, is that B Jim said that? B Tim?
No, I did not say that.
Well, we know. Listen.
You get so cringy.
B Tim has a secret admirer already in my inbox. She already
I know. She is hot as isn't she? She's hot stuff.
You haven't seen it yet.
Oh, has he not seen her?
I played it. Yeah, I was gonna say he's got a secret admirer already.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one that sang the song for him?
What?
Was that the one that done the song for you? Or a video for you?
That's the one with the video, apparently.
Oh,
Yes.
she's hot. She's hot for him. You want to get in
Sure.
there, mate, before she gets taken.
He's got loads of lovers here.
I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I'm gonna have a good one.
All right,
We all
guys, I
live
love
with
you. Leave. Enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll be up another day or tonight or tomorrow, whatever.
All
I
right.
appreciate you, love.
See you
Have a good
later.
day.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me up, guys. Bye.
Yes, thanks for
Bye.
coming up.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Wow,
So-
that's a little interesting sidebar, huh?
Yeah.
Beautiful. But she can't steal my spot.
Yeah, she is. She is gorgeous. Yes, she is.
So I was
Be
the only
Jim.
Brit. Be Jim, you are loved by everybody.
Evelyn says, "Get in there, mate. I love it. Look, I got a good. If people didn't know any different, they would think I was from over there.
Yeah, you've
When
got
I
a good
start my
accent.
accent. Little
You've got a
crumpets.
great accent.
I'll get it.
I'm not sure about
Sharon,
that.
Sharon, you're up here. Don't do me like that, BTM. Don't do me like that now. You hear the dog
No.
snort? She said, "Don't do her like that either."
That's all-
Sharon,
that's
you're up
all
here
I
with us,
was-
baby.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, how are you, love? What you doing?
Good. Have a guess where I come from?
London.
America.
No. I wish.
Oh, are
London.
you from Black Country?
Canada.
I'm in the southwest.
Are you in the Black Country?
No, I'm in the southwest.
Wales.
No, I'm originally from Bath.
Oh, okay.
But I just wanted to come up and say hi because I became a member today because I love you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for coming up. I love this. Look, I love this sidebar. Coming up to say hi.
Yeah, I've never done this before, so you know.
Well, I appreciate you trying it out. You know what I mean? Clicking the link and coming up because some people get really scared.
Oh, I don't get scared, you know, but I'm a bit shy.
The nerdy geek says Bristol. Are you from Bristol?
I'm near Bristol. I'm Gloucester.
Gloucester. In my tractor.
Where the King and Queen have got their house in Highgrove.
Okay.
But I don't see them. I only see the helicopter.
It'd be magic if you
Wow.
could see Queen.
That is so interesting.
No, I'd rather see the Prince and Princess of Wales, not the Queen.
Not sure these
The
days,
Queen's
but
dead, isn't she?
Huh?
Queen's dead, isn't she?
yeah, Queen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
talking about our, that one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying no more. I might get arrested.
No, don't be daft. I hate the royals.
But I do. I love the way Queen runs her channel. I think it's brilliant.
She's great,
Wow.
isn't
It's the only channel I watch because you make me laugh so much.
she? Yeah,
Aw,
we
I
wear Crocs
appreciate
as well.
I appreciate you hanging out. All of
Yeah,
you
me
guys.
too.
I really
I
do.
think-
I
Yeah.
enjoy hanging out with you guys.
That's good. Well, I'm going to have to go because it's getting into evening here now.
Okay, you have.
Yeah.
a
Alrighty, yeah, I was saying our trial will be starting back up again, so we gotta
Yeah.
end our sidebar. But I appreciate you girls coming up and hanging out.
You're welcome.
Not a
I'll
problem.
do the chat anyway.
Thank you, love. Have a good day. We'll
Yeah.
see you in chat.
Bye bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Go on.
You'd think I'd know that, wouldn't you, Crappy? But I don't like the royals, but
Shocker.
I forgot.
Shocker.
Right. What are you trying to say, Tim? Beat him.
I'm just,
Jim.
I kind of figured that to be.
It's kind of like when
totally
he
honest.
slipped it in there and said, he feels like I'm somebody that sits in the back of the class.
Yeah. I kind of
Well-
got that feeling from you.
From me?
Yes,
No.
you
You're
don't like the
completely
royals.
wrong. I'm an absolute delight, me, Tim.
No, I mean it's not a bad thing you don't like. It's just like I feel like you just don't like them because you just don't like the whole posh thing, and they're all like,
No, I don't.
all about they're full of themselves all the time, and all the little traditions and stuff like that. It's like
Nope.
it's like nah.
I've got
Yeah.
purple and green hair, so
Yeah.
I like to stand out from the crowd.
Oh shit, William Eyelashes. I gotta go back to Wendy's. My break is over. Oh shit, you might be right. Let me check on my boss. Shit.
Right, I'm gonna jump down.
All right, love. We'll see you
Thanks
later.
for coming up, Queen. See you later.
Thank you
Bye,
for coming up,
Peter.
baby.
Oh, you have a good one. Wow,
You too,
this is the longest 15 minutes I've ever seen. Did you pause this? Wow. Like, talk about a 15-minute break for the agents.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is definitely longer than a 15-minute break, but you know what? It's better than court TV because they don't conversate with people from overseas over there.
Yeah.
They don't hang out with their chat like we do. So now what?
Oh shit, William Eyelash says the lab is my boss. Oh fuck. I better report to my supervisor, Mr. Lab.
No, but you know what? As much as I can't fucking stand his stupid ass, he did say a couple of things that were funny as fuck. Like he said, yeah, he's like something about fries from Wendy's. He's like, yeah, I'm like 300 pounds. I smell like fries from Wendy's. That's not my love language. I fucking died. I'm like, bro. He says something about smell. The clip I got, because you know what I mean? I didn't watch all of it or whatever. I just got a little clip of it. Like, well, I got 2 clips of where he said he smells like, where he's like something about his fries is smelling like fries is his love language. I fucking died. Like, at least he could, you know what I'm saying? Joke around about
I know. It is what it is. It's the.
I mean, he was probably being a dick the whole time. I don't know because, like I said, I didn't watch the whole.
I didn't
thing.
watch, but yeah, I heard the Wendy's
The
thing.
2 clips I got, and then he's like something about oh, what the hell? He was mad as hell talking about. Well, why is it the Wendy's? Why you keep calling it the Wendy's? I'm like, bro, you fucking made a whole 2-hour show over one fucking sentence B-Tip said about Wendy's, bro. Really?
Because they probably at home. He probably loved working at Wendy's and he just couldn't get a job back then. They were like, listen, sir, you stole all our fries. You know what I mean? Like, you took all the
Wendy's is
fries.
fucking fire, but I'm just saying, he was mad as fuck about it.
You know what I remember, like, when I was a kid, the Roy Rogers? Remember Roy Rogers? I guess you know. I used to eat at Roy Rogers. When I was
We ain't had no Roy Rogers here.
Okay, well, thanks. We had a Roy Rogers. I like my Roy Rogers.
Now look, we had a Virginia's ice cream. For those of y'all that, for the ones that Google mapped my fucking house out and shit, if you go back and look, well, I guess there wouldn't be no Google Maps of it, huh, from that long ago. It was a while back, but it's torn down now, but it was at the corner. It was called Virginia's Ice Cream. It was the fucking bomb. It was the best little ice cream store ever.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. Never heard of it, but, you know, In-N-Out Burger, I've been craving them.
Do you guys have like an A&W restaurant there, like a
A&W? You think I go to I don't go to those A&W. I haven't gone to a restaurant in quite a while. I don't like wasting money, so.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm more like, honestly, this is like my thing I like to do on YouTube. I watch this 3-star Michelin star reviewer that goes to restaurants all around the world and reviews the food because I'm not rich enough to eat at these places, so I can at least watch someone else eat it. So I usually watch this. I forgot the name. I'm trying to remember the channel's name, but he went to the Eiffel Tower, the restaurant recently in the Eiffel Tower. There's like a little restaurant there inside it.
You know what scared the hell out of me was when I seen they had these fucking restaurants that they go up in the air and you're like,
yeah, it's the Eiffel Tower. They have one that's literally in the middle of the Eiffel Tower. It's been there since like a very long time. And a James Bond movie was filmed there, and you can see the whole view of like Paris. And all that stuff. It looks really cool.
Yeah, that is wild as hell to me.
Yeah,
I don't think I'd be able to go up that high, let alone eat anything up that high. It made me sick watching them. I'm like, I can't do heights like that.
Yeah, I think it's called. What is it called? The Jewel. Let me see. I gotta look at the reviewer, but I think was it called the Jules Verne or Madame Brossard? Let me see. I think it's the Jules Verne. Yeah, I think it's called the Jules Verne, and it's like it's a lot of people go there for the sights. Like I think it's a 3-star Michelin star restaurant. It might be 2. You know, he got like an okay review, but like the issues with that is like their wine selection is very tough because they have to transport the wine. They can't store it there because they're limited space apparently. And it was pretty cool review of the restaurant. I never knew there was a restaurant in the Alpha Tower. I thought that was made up. There's one on top of the Shard in London. You need money to eat there. Yeah, apparently, yeah, you're gonna probably have to pay like for 2 people to eat at this place, the Jules Verne. You probably have to spend like $1,200 to $1,300 for 2 people to eat, which is, you know, most people don't even make that in a week. So, you know, good luck. But let me see. I went to a restaurant on the top of the Space Needle in Seattle. 2 people, it was over $300. Almost died. Yeah, I think the most I've ever paid was like I went to this Italian restaurant. I'm not going to say the name, obviously. Let's just say has some history, and I think I paid like about, what was it, like including tip, like about $1,100 for about 3 people. So 3-4 people, yeah. Eiffel. Let me see. My friend went to the Eiffel Tower restaurant last month and said what? And said it was fabulous food. Yeah, I think he only had issues with one dish. He said he didn't like one dish, but he gave him a lot of passes because you have limited space to cook there and transport stuff. So, but it's a great view. You ever see the view from that Jules Verne restaurant, Queen? Probably
Ever
not.
seen what?
You ever see the Jules Verne restaurant in Paris?
No, I'm trying to drink hot chocolate so I can get my voice back. No, I don't even know.
You're like, no, I don't know anything. I'm not spending $1,200 on a lunch.
Absolutely not. No.
That's why I was like, I watch this guy all the time. I watch this guy called Alexander the Guest, and he just basically reviews Michelin star restaurants and goes to these like very, very high class restaurants, location. This is the video, by the way, I put in the back. It's and it's actually it's a 2-star Michelin. It's a 2-star Michelin restaurant. And I just like he goes to the food and reviews it and discusses the restaurant's history and stuff like that. And I always thought that was a kind of cool thing. You know, the Fixing Bar. Okay. I make $1,200 in a week. I wish. Yeah. I mean, some people make that. Some people don't. Don't eat out often, so I haven't been there. That's why I watch this guy, because the chances of me eating for $3,000 or $1,500 for lunch is almost zero. So I can at least watch other people spend their money. Kind of like those people that watch people buy stuff and open them up. You know those types of like live streamers that just buy boxes of expensive stuff and open them up on the camera, and you say, "Wow, that's so cool." Well, I mean, that includes the wine, so it's kind of a bargain. I'd probably do it if it was Alpha Tower. If I was like in Paris and I was like, well, that'd be kind of cool. You know, be nice. But the only problem is like you know, desserts look good though on the menu though. Beats him on the CN Tower has a revolving restaurant in Toronto. What an experience, and the food's amazing. Yeah, I always think food is really about the experience more so. Like how memories are achieved. You know what I mean? Like how we read things with words and how we like see things, and food can be an art form based upon taste. So I always look at like restaurants, high class Michelin star restaurants, as a form of art that uses taste as a way to tell their art to you. You know, that's just my opinion on it. You know, unfortunately, only the extremely, extremely rich can have the experience of that type of art style. Crypt Dogs in East Village has a secret entrance. I've heard of that. Never went. Kind of do want to go, but try not to spend money on stupid stuff. Personally, I'd rather go to street foods. There's a difference between like street food's okay in Thailand. Like I think that I've seen people love it. Don't ever eat street food in China. They might use not great cooking oil. Let's just say that much. Oh, the judge is back. This was an interesting sidebar, everyone. I get they're going to put the sound on soon.
And I missed voices.
Oh, hi, voices.
Well, she was up here. I think.
Oh, I
she's
didn't
gone.
see her. Oh,
No,
shit.
no,
Sorry about that.
no, she's back. I didn't either. But yeah, that was gonna say that was like a 22-minute
Yeah,
break.
that was. I mean, it was needed after spending about 3 hours on garbage disposal.
Right.
I mean, I'd be falling asleep if I was on a jury listening to about the mechanics of throwing
I was
garbage
gonna
out.
say that's probably what she was doing, was making sure they were up and awake, and
Get them some
Okay, so
coffee.
we're back on the record in SBCR 22-03364J6. Council are both present at their respective tables. Ms. Simon is present with her counsel. Ms. Parker, I've had an opportunity to review the motion for immunity, and I am signing the order granting use and derivative immunity. I'm going to hand it down to the clerk. Both
So that's for the drug dealer.
So they may be filed in. And of course, that is regarding the witness.
What did she say she's gonna do?
Weston.
Sign an order of immunity for one of the witnesses.
Oh wow!
Signed and filed.
So she's giving the drug dealer immunity to talk about selling dope and doing whatever, but so he won't be charged for it afterwards.
Yeah, pretty much. Imagine if he says, "Yeah, I also did something like."
What a fucking dumb shit to do this on the stand. You know he ain't no fucking real dope dealer out there. He ain't a real dope boy. I know that.
Yes.
I've heard Wendy's is hiring. I think he should give up his profession and start working
All
for
right.
Wendy's.
So
Mr. Drug
before
Dealer.
we bring the jury out, let's talk about how we're going to proceed at this point. The state has made a motion to not broadcast or have recorded certain testimony. Mr. Dean, if you'll state the state's position on that.
So we're objecting to any recording, audio or video, and broadcasting of the testimony of Craig Weston and of Tim Weston should he testify. We're objecting under OCGA 15.1.10.1, which sets forth the multifactorial test for granting or denying media requests. In particular, we are relying on the first two factors: the nature of the particular proceeding at issue, that proceeding being just his or their testimony, and the second factor, the consent or objection of the parties or witnesses. He has objected to us, and so we're relaying that to the court. Also, the sixth factor, the impact upon due process and the truth-finding function of the judicial proceeding. We think that, given his concerns about recording and broadcasting, we think that the truth-seeking function of this criminal trial will be furthered by not doing that in the case of him and Tim Weston should he testify.
All right, thank you. Mr. Hilliard.
Your Honor, since we're just dealing with flat statements without any evidence to support them, my objection is the exact opposite of that. With the only two exceptions in the trial so far, one having to do with a minor child, which I think everyone agreed on, and the other one having to do with an agent who may or may not have testified that we didn't want to have their identity revealed for reasons, okay, that are enumerated, and again, not a great objection to. We don't have that here, okay? Mr. Weston is a civilian, he's not a minor, he's not under indictment, he's been granted use immunity. I'm sorry if the things that he's testifying about may be personally embarrassing to him, but I didn't call him as a witness, and the rules we've been playing under have been the same for everyone. I don't see, Mr. Dean baldly states, well, due process can be served by this. Well, I can baldly state that due process would not be served by it, and we're right back at the beginning of the analysis. So everyone in here is objected to the media coverage thus far, every opportunity we've been given. So I'm not saying this because I'm any great fan of having cameras in the courtroom, because I'm not. Okay, I am saying this though, that the rules that we've been playing by, every witness has had to come in here and testify so far, with only those two exceptions, have had to testify in front of the cameras. So I think Mr. Weston should have to as well. I'm sorry if he finds it embarrassing. Or he doesn't
I
like
think
it.
so too. If you gonna come in and say it with your whole chest.
Any potential legal ramifications are out the window at this point. So I think that use of immunity promotes due process and fairness more than anything. Other than that, we're just talking about his own personal embarrassment, and that's not one of the factors, Judge. So we object.
Mr. Dean, looking at considerations 1, 2, and 6, is there anything particularly about the nature of the particular proceeding at issue? What can you tell the court more about that in your objection?
This witness is likely going to be asked to touch on private sexual matters. It's one thing he is a private citizen. He is likely going to be asked
That
to touch
chose
on
to
private
be in this.
sexual matters. He's testifying under compulsion and under a grant of immunity, and might also be asked about perhaps about criminal activity for which he will never be tried, and will therefore never be vetted in a court. And that's this is the same reason that the federal government doesn't name unindicted co-conspirators in indictments.
Too bad. It's so sad.
Conspirators are never
You
going
need to
to
be
get
testifying.
tried.
It needs to
And an
be
opportunity
on
to flesh
camera,
out the truth or falsity of the allegations against him.
like
There's
everyone
sort of a
else.
parallel thing going on here with him. And as to, so I think that's enough factually to state that, and that goes to the nature of the proceedings. As to the objection issue, I mean, I'm just proffering and stating in my place as an officer of the court that he objects, and he objects strongly. He can.
And you cleared up a question I had in my mind. So,
May I say one more thing? I'm sorry.
You sure you
If not, that's fine. You're not going to hurt my feelings. That's it now.
What do you want to say, Mr. Dean?
I was just going to say that this idea that the court's decisions about recording or broadcasting the trial at large and the testimony of other witnesses, and that there ought to be some, there's like a principle of consistency that ought to control here, just seems to me to be totally at odds with the multifactorial, fact-specific, witness-specific tests set forth in the
Are you
code.
saying that's what the court is doing?
No. That's what I took Mr. Hilliard to be urging the court to do, is to apply a uniform rule for all witnesses and all the subject matter of the trial. And I just don't think that's what the code section calls for.
Mr. Dean,
Yes.
I know you're about to go on, and
If
you
you
don't
like.
need to. You will, and I don't need you to.
I do have something to say about that. You asked about the nature of the proceeding, so this is kind of a different thing. He gave an answer to it. I'm going to see if I can summarize Mr. Dean's argument. We've hauled in a witness by compulsory process. We are offering this witness. We have given this witness immunity, and we've subpoenaed them into this murder trial. And now, because he feels some kind of way about being embarrassed, that we're going to change the rules for this witness, which is all what they've done. So I don't understand how you can create the problem, cement the problem, alleviate the problem with this particular witness, and then think that, I'm the one who's objecting to it, and I'm the bad guy, because I think this guy should play by the same rules that every other person they've done the exact same thing to has had to play by the entire trial. I don't see there's anything unique about the nature of this particular proceeding. I don't see there's anything about this particular witness that makes it relevant or necessary to turn the cameras off.
Exactly.
I don't say that because I want them on. I don't.
There ain't no
I say
reason to
that
give him
because I don't see a
special
reason to carve out an
anything.
exception for Mr. Weston. He's not that special.
Right.
And that's the reason why I'm objecting to it.
Exactly. He's not that special.
Rules are here to guide us. And
Motion denied.
110 is here to guide us with regards to videotaping and televising and recording. I do think there is a balancing test. There are several conditions that are listed, things that the court should consider and hear from all parties. All situations are a little bit different. And in taking this case in particular, and the state's objection, I'm going to grant
oh, that's bullshit.
I'm not going to require Mr. Weston to testify with the cameras on. I think that Mr. Dean gave an argument for one, the nature and particular proceeding at issue that helps satisfy the court. He also stated
That'll help with her appeal.
Condition 2, but condition 6 I find is very persuasive. The impact upon due process and the truth finding function of the judicial proceeding. Given what the particular scenario is with this witness and some of the factors that play in, I am going to require that cameras not roll and that it not be recorded. Of course, the fact finders who are here will still be able to hear all of the evidence. They will be able to see him. And anyone who's in the courtroom will be able to hear from him. This is still an open courtroom, although in my discretion, I am not going to allow this witness testimony to be broadcast. Okay. And so with that, is there anything else that we need to take up before we bring in the jury?
No, Your Honor.
And you need Mr. Hilliard, you wanted a copy of the order?
I have it right here, Judge. I did want to though, just so I can use it on Mr. Weston when the time comes.
Okay.
If you want, you look.
All right.
If you want to sell drugs and you got to go up on the stand, it's all good. They'll hide it for you. It's all good. That's a good place to sell drugs, in my opinion.
Yes, Grace.
Your Honor, is Mr. Weston the next witness so that we can be aware of when he's going to testify?
What I anticipate is Detective Lemons. Detective Lemons is going to be called next, and then after Detective, then Mr. Weston is going to be called. And I would ask that you cut the camera footage and recording at that time.
And just to clarify, that would be audio.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, can we describe this testimony as reporters
Yeah.
talking about what's happened in the day or no?
This is an open courtroom. We're just not recording and broadcasting.
So they can write it down and talk about it, and they better.
So we're allowed to quote him if we take direct quotes, that's fine?
Yes.
This is bullshit, in my opinion. Fucking bullshit.
Please bring in the jury.
Yeah, he's a fucking informant, in my opinion, huh? Allegedly, and all the things.
I think they're giving him a lot of special treatment. I haven't seen.
Fuck right they are. Shit, you want special treatment? You want to testify on the stand after why you selling drugs to a woman who allegedly murdered her child? Okay, because the drugs that she fucking did and put in her body came from you. It's fucking absurd. It is. It's bullshit. It's pissing me right the fuck off.
Yeah, I wonder if he's like some sort of, because he not only gets immunity, but he also does. They fight for his right to
no
be
broadcasting, no recording, immunity. fuck out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a lot. So I guess Miss
But
Lemon's
you
going to
put the
continue.
baby daddy on the fucking stand and everybody else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, that's because they didn't get immunity. Yeah.
All right, please have a seat, ladies and gentlemen. I think I said 15, but I think it grew into an hour. So
Yeah.
I appreciate your patience. Honestly, we are not dancing and having a party while you guys are in the back. The work continues.
We're just protecting drug
I'm going
dealers.
to turn now to the state. You may call your next witness.
Marion Lemons.
Vito, I think that's why they were willing to conceal his identity, because they gave him immunity.
Evidence shall give the court and jury in the trial. This issue should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the
Who
truth.
knows?
One more time for good measure.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. We even heard they even let a minor child be recorded. They just didn't show her face.
Which is
So you're telling me,
crazy.
yeah, you're giving the drug dealer more fucking get the fuck out of here.
Which is kind of crazy to me. Like, you would think the camera feed would cut off for the minor child. They did that with the
You
other
testified,
cases.
feels like a long time ago now, about the defendant's October 5th interviews at Chatham County Police Headquarters, right?
Yes.
And over the course of that day, she disclosed 2 trips away from the residence on the night of October 4th, morning of October 5th.
Yes.
And on that day, what was the story as to the first trip, the earlier of the 2?
She described going to the Flacco's Tacos to meet up with a gentleman she knew as Red.
To do what?
To pay back a drug front.
Over time, I guess by October 12th, in the interview with Special Agent Snyder and Special Agent Solomon that we watched more recently in time, did that story change?
Yes, it did.
How did it change?
It moved from meeting Red for a drug front at the Flacco's Tacos into meeting Red/Craig on Arkwright to buy cocaine and Percocets.
What do you mean by Red/Craig?
She told the interviewers that Red is Craig in that interview.
Okay, same person.
Yes.
Okay. As early as October 5th, you had thumbed through her phone, right?
Yes.
And on that day, did you at some point, did you see messages in her phone between her and a contact saved as Craig?
Correct.
When do you remember first seeing those messages?
I believe I mentioned them on October 5th to her.
Okay. And did you ask her a question about Craig that day?
I did.
What was the question that you asked her?
I think I asked her specifically who is Craig.
Did you ask her whether there was anything going? What did she say to that, if you remember?
I believe she referred to him as an older white male that was not Red.
And it was on the 12th that she said, actually, Craig and Red are the same person.
Yes.
And it's an African-American gentleman, right?
Yes.
Okay. On the 5th, you had seen messages between her and a contact saved as Craig, right? Day
Yes.
one. And did you ask her whether there was anything sexual going on between the 2 of them?
Yes, I did.
And what did she say about that?
I believe in that specific interview, I don't fully remember what she said.
Okay. At some point in the investigation, did she deny that, though?
Yes, she did.
Okay. You later received a copy of her cell phone extraction, correct?
Yes.
And did you select and export from that cell phone extraction all of her communications with the contact saved as Craig?
Yes.
Do you see in front of you State's Exhibit 91?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us what that is?
So this is an extraction report of all communications and anything that has to do with the user she has saved as Craig.
Your Honor, I would introduce this as State's Exhibit 91.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, submitted.
Now, does this exhibit show when she first saved Craig as a contact?
Yes, it does.
And what was that date?
On September 16th in 2022.
Okay, so that would have been how long before Quentin's disappearance? Like a little less than 3 weeks, maybe?
Correct.
Okay. In moving forward from that, is there a series of text message exchanges between the two of them leading up to October 4th?
Yes, text messages and phone calls.
And does this document include all of them?
Yes, it does.
Before we get into reading individual ones and describing when they were sent and received and so forth, let me just ask you, can you kind of summarize what these communications show as far as what was going on with the two of them, between the two of them during, say, late September, early October?
So pretty much from when Leilani saved Craig into her phone, it appears that they began a sexual relationship and were scheduling meetups to meet and have sexual intercourse.
And where was it that they appeared to be meeting?
At his place of residence.
And where is that?
Off of Arkwright.
Okay. On Arkwright Road?
Yes.
Off of Highway 204?
Yes.
Okay. And I think you testified earlier that you identified Craig as Craig Weston of Arkwright Road?
Yes.
Okay. Let me draw your attention to a few of these and have you talk us through them, okay?
Okay.
Can you go to line 7?
Yes.
So this thing is like, we've had some of these bubble style exports. This is a table style, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. It's just a different way of pushing text messages out of the Cellbrite extraction?
Yes.
Okay. Line 7. Can you walk us through this message, including like the date and time and who sent it to whom and what it says?
Okay. So again, these are only from Craig and Leilani. So this one's from Craig saying WRY, which is commonly known as Where Are You? On September 25th at 2:24 a.m.
All right. So middle of the night.
Yeah.
All right. Line 8, can you just kind of walk through these from that one through line 16?
Okay. So the previous message was at 2:24 a.m. The next one is from Leilani at 2:25 that says, I'm home on Buckhalter. At 2:25 from Craig, hello. 2:26 a.m. from Leilani, I can come back out there. At 2:38 a.m. from Leilani, on the way. And then at 2:46 a.m., Leilani sends a video message. This is a thumbnail of the video that she sent, and it appears to be of a trailer from inside of a vehicle.
Now, you've been to Arkwright Road?
I have.
And you've seen the structures out there?
Yes.
Does this appear to show that she was present there at that time?
I believe it's the back part of Arkwright.
Okay. And that was at 2:46?
Correct.
So it looks like she's there at that point.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to line 13.
So at 2:48 a.m., Craig says, okay, 1 minute. And then it skips to 5:55 p.m., so several hours later.
That would be like 13 hours later or something
Yes.
like that? Okay.
Craig asked, you okay today? You man here.
And how did she respond to that?
At 6:54 p.m., she says, yeah, I'm okay. He's on his BS today, and I don't feel like arguing. And then in response at 6:58 p.m., Craig says, okay, well, was thinking about you.
All right. So is that set of messages that we described, does that appear to be the first visit by the defendant to Craig that we see reflected in this set of messages, at least?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, I'd like to go forward to line 62 on page 5.
Okay.
And if you could just do the same thing for 62 through 76. Go nice and slow with the times and everything.
Okay. So this is on September 26th at 11:59 p.m. from Leilani. On the way now, be there in about 12 to 14 minutes. At 12:04 a.m., Craig initiates a phone call and they speak for 53 seconds. At 12:05 a.m., Craig says, okay. At 12:06 a.m., Craig says, okay, I'm in back to my camper. Stay close to your left. My dog gonna try eat your car, but he won't.
And the next one?
At 12:16 a.m., Craig says hello. At 12:16 a.m., Leilani says, okay, I'm passing Quaco now. At 12:17 a.m., Leilani initiates a phone call for 19 seconds with Craig. And then at 12:21 a.m., Craig says door open. Then skipping to 1:22 a.m., the previous was at 12:21. Leilani says, I'm home. I loved those hugs.
I'm home. I love those hugs.
Yep.
All right. So based on when she said she was passing Quaco Road on the way there, and when she says, I'm home, I love those hugs, roughly how long does it appear that she spent at Craig's place that night?
Roughly 45 minutes.
Okay. Moving on to line 41, when is this message sent in relation to the last one we just read?
Yep. So the last one was at 1:22, where she's saying, I'm home. I loved those hugs. The following message is from Craig at 1:26 a.m. And it says, okay, not more than I did. I was about to grab that kitty one time.
What does she say to that?
In response at 1:26, she said, LMFAO, you most definitely could have, exclamation point. And then at
do you think people generally know what LMFAO means?
It's laugh my fucking ass off, in case you didn't.
No. All right. 73, what's that? What does that one say?
73 is at 1:29 a.m. from Craig. Shit, I sure wanted to, like I see how it looked, FR.
Try that one again, sorry. Read it slowly.
Yeah.
And before you do that, what date are we on?
9:27.
Early morning hours of September 27th. Okay, go ahead with 73.
Yep, 73 at 1:29 a.m. Shit, I sure wanted to, like to see how it looked, FR.
What does FR mean?
For real.
Okay. How does the defendant respond to that in line 74?
So 74 at 1:36 a.m. is a response from Leilani sending a video message to Craig of herself masturbating.
75?
75 is at 1:38. So after the video message, Craig says, damn, you just made me hard as fuck. Thank you.
And 76?
76 is at 1:39 a.m. from Leilani. Well, shit, I'm glad I did.
Moving on to 117. And this will be the last set that I'll ask you to read, okay? If you could take us through 117 through 131. Stop at 131, okay?
Okay. So it's on October 1st at 12:24 a.m. is the first message from Leilani. Dealing with Danny flipping his shit. As soon as I can leave here, I'll let you know. Craig responds at 12:34 a.m. K. And then at 1:14 a.m. from Craig, if you can't come out, it's okay. At 1:15 a.m. from Leilani, I'm about to head that way, just probably can only stay for a couple hours though. Is that okay? Then at 1:22 a.m., Leilani says, heading to the car now. At 1:22 a.m., Leilani says, be there in about 20. At 1:25 a.m., Craig says, well, you want to park at rideshare.
What is rideshare?
It's pretty much just like an empty parking lot about a quarter mile from Arkwright. It's commonly known in that area as the rideshare.
Okay, go ahead.
At 1:26 a.m., Leilani says, yeah, I will. At 1:56 a.m., Leilani says, just pulled into the rideshare. At 2 a.m., they have a 2-second conversation over the phone. At 2 a.m., Craig says 2 min, which is 2 minutes. And then at 2:01, Leilani says, okay.
All right, so per those messages, it looks like by shortly after 2 a.m. they would have been together then?
Yes.
Okay. And the next message, 129?
So that one is at 3:23 a.m. The previous was at 2:01. Craig's
almost like an hour and a half has passed or so.
Yes, more than an hour. That was good as fuck. I'll take that anytime. FRI, no, I made you come for a long time.
That was from Craig to the defendant.
Yes.
All right, the next message.
That one's at 3:56 a.m. from Leilani. I would be down to do that again anytime.
131.
At 3:56 a.m., Leilani says, and yes, you did for a good ass min. And then the following message is at 11:59 p.m.
So how much time has passed at this point?
Well over 12 hours.
Okay, so this is like the next night.
Yes.
Okay.
It is 10:01. So at 11:59, Craig says, you okay? On 10:02 at 9:02 a.m., Leilani says, yes, I'm okay. She then responds, about to drive over there actually. At 9:46 a.m., Craig responds, damn, you was tired or I got rid of a lot of your stress. At 9:46, Craig says, LOL. At 9:47, Leilani says, a lot of stress was released. I need that sleep. At 9:54 a.m., Craig says, that's good shit. I was ready for round 2 last night, but it's okay. You needed that rest. You look well rested.
And then 140.
And then 140 is at 9:57 a.m. from Leilani. I'm still wiping the crust from my eyes.
All right. So these seem to show that over the week leading up to Quentin's disappearance, that the defendant was getting male attention from Craig like 3-4 times, something like that.
It would appear so, yes.
One moment, please, Your Honor. No further questions.
Mr. Hilliard?
I do have a few about State's Exhibit 91. Good. Detective Lemons, let's talk about the text messages you didn't mention. Okay. I'll start on page 1. So the contact for Craig was added on September 16th, correct?
Yes.
That's the first time that this appears anywhere in here to the best of your knowledge or in mine, correct?
Yes.
Right. Did you see anything to this number prior to that?
No.
Okay. So on the first page, instant message 6, if you would, did Mr. Dean ask you to read that one?
No, he didn't.
Okay. What does that one say? And who's it from and who's it to?
On 9:25 at 2:23 a.m., Leilani says, I needed a 50, but no one was there.
What is a 50 commonly referred to as? Is that a drug slang?
I believe it's just a number.
I needed a 50, but no one was there?
I don't know what she was intending there. I mean, I can assume it's drug lingo, but what exactly it is, I don't know.
Well, you seem to know what WRY meant, correct?
Yes,
And you're currently stationed at C&T, correct?
I am.
Okay. So, using your experience and your knowledge as an agent over at the counter narcotics team, when someone says they need a 50, what are they commonly referring to?
Objection, asked and answered.
I'm going to allow Mr. Hilliard his line of questioning. Overruled.
Yep. So my understanding is almost everyone has their own drug knowledge. Usually when I don't know something, I'll ask one of the other agents there. So right now I don't know what she's referring to.
All right. So let's move on then. Look at let me go back and just start from the beginning with this. On page 3, line 26, who is that from and who is that to? And what does it say?
It is from Craig to Leilani, and it says, I'm going to be your first black guy, not that it matters.
And that was on September 26th.
Yes.
And at that point in time, that seems to imply at least that they had not done anything, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, and let's look at number 42, September 26th. Who's that from and who's that to and what time is that?
You said 42?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That one's from Leilani. Y'all got perks or anything like that?
What do you think was meant by perks?
Percocet.
And number 43, what was the reply?
From Craig, no, I'll check around.
And number 52 at the bottom right there, who's that from and who's that to?
That one is from Leilani to Craig.
And what's that asking for?
You got a half of tree.
And what is that referring to?
I believe that's marijuana.
Okay. And the instant message that y'all are referring to was, I believe Mr. Dean asked you about where it looks like, I guess they met at the ride share. What day was that again? I think it was October 1st, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And does that seem to be when there was some sort of activity between the two of them?
Yes.
And on I think it's the last page, but I'm not mistaken. All right, here we go. It's like number 143 at the top of the last page. Who is that from and who is that to?
That is from Leilani to Craig.
And what's that saying on October 2nd?
About to head over there and grab his ass a 40 so he'll shut up.
And that's to Craig, correct?
Yes.
All right. And on October 3rd at 3:30, who is that from and who is that to?
Which line?
Number 147.
That one is from Leilani to Craig.
And what does that one say?
Just sent 30 Danny coming in for it.
That's all the questions I have with regard to this exhibit, Judge. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Hilliard. Any redirect?
So she's not just sleeping with him, he's also involved in supplying her drugs.
Correct.
Isn't that exactly what we've been saying?
Yes.
We talked about the number of meetups that you can clearly see in these text messages and how long they seem to have lasted, right?
Yes.
On the night of October 4th, the night that we're concerned with your, was there any text message set up?
No.
Was there any text message communications with them at all?
No.
Between them at all, I should say?
No.
And how long did the GPS data establish that she was there for that night?
10 minutes.
And how does that relate in length to the previous visits that we've talked about?
I think the shortest one is 45 for their meetups.
So much shorter.
Yes.
No further questions. No further questions.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, you may take your seat once again. The state may call its next witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Craig Weston.
Okay, and at this point, this is where video.
So they're cutting the video. They're not allowing sound for Craig Weston.
Well, what's really odd is if you look up Craig Weston, if you Google that name, it comes up.
It comes up what? I think you muted yourself because there's something going on.
Oh, sorry, I had a video playing. Anyways, if you Google his name, if you Google that name, it comes up that he's 17 and he was just indicted on a murder charge last week for Malice murder. Says he's a gang member or something. I don't know. Like I said, it's probably not him. I don't know, but that's just if you Google it, that's what shows up. So it's very odd that they don't want him on there. But I mean, again, it could be somebody different. You don't know how. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think that's. We have no proof that that's
him
him.
Either. So that's why I said you never really know because I mean anybody can pull. But when you type in that name, it pops up with Leilani's stuff too. Look.
Mm-hmm.
So I got an email. That said, "Have you seen this? Do you know this? Do you know this Craig Weston or whatever?" And I was like, "No, I've never heard of him. They won't show him."
Yeah, and he lives in Savannah.
Right. So here, I'll share the tab. Craig Weston, Savannah, Georgia. You look at this. It says mother seeks justice for murdered son, and then this pops up and this says Craig A. Weston. Here's this, but you know what I mean. And then it says woman who allegedly killed her toddler and dumped his body, but it cuts off opening statements, blah blah blah. But it's got his name in it. Like all these Craig Weston, different. So it pops up, but it's a 17-year-old arrested for a murder of 19-year-old Craig Weston. And this is what she pulled up.
And this is in 2016.
This is the same. What is it?
It says December 24th, 2016. So you were 17 at the time.
So that would have been like 10 years ago. That would have been 10 years ago, which would have made him 27 now.
It would have been 8 years ago.
Yeah. So I don't think that's the same person. In my opinion, it's not. But I mean, I don't know. Like I said, people are obviously looking it up. So she sent that to me and asked if it was the same person. I'm like, I have no idea. I've never seen him. They're not going to show him. So I don't know who it is.
Yeah. I mean, will they describe him in the court?
That's what happens. Because I mean, when they Googled my name, they got the wrong fucking thing. They got fucking 5 articles of the wrong person too. So
yeah, I mean, I think the situation is we don't know, but I just think it's interesting that they showed they let the audio play for the minor.
Right. They let the audio play for a minor child, but won't let the fucking testimony of a drug dealer on here. This is bullshit. This is way fucking bullshit. Not only that, but it shows a sexual relationship and drug usage before and obviously after her son was.
Well, also it shows motive for Danny Youngkin. It could be that he was angry and he knew something was going on with his mother of his child with another man. And he was having some sort of, you know what I mean? And he's left alone with the kids while drinking. Well, that seems to me that's the issue. But, yeah. When you go, my name, sure. Okay, I'm not going to read that. Very, very odd. Yeah. This guy would be the same age as Leilani. Yeah, I mean, also they said he was African American, but one moment they're saying he's white. It's a little odd.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, and that's what the message said, that she was. I mean, obviously you could tell she was kind of confused on if it was him or not.
Well, the drug dealer wouldn't be the boyfriend. The drug dealer would be the guy she's had sexual relations with, so she can get free drugs. Danny Youngkin was the boyfriend at the time. I think Danny'd rather drink than do what he should be. I don't know about that. Bruised knuckles and her not accusing Danny at the motel tells the story sadly. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Because they didn't mind, like, they're saying, oh, this is so embarrassing for Mr. Craig Weston. But the fact is, they just read the text messages, which is his personal text messages with Leilani Simon, which talks about the sexual nature. To be honest with you, they're probably gonna, Queen, I think we're gonna be gone for a while. Because they're probably gonna take time to go through the witness, and then they're gonna go for a lunch break. Queen? Tim Weston. So I don't know. I think they're going to be gone for a while. I wouldn't be shocked if it was like for 2.5 hours. I don't know. Do not know. I have no clue. But we will see. Let me see. State calls Craig Weston. Stand note the testimony will not be recorded broadcast per the court order. Craig Weston. I don't know what happened to Queen. Queen went away. Queen left me here. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, when you type in Craig Weston, you do get the gang from like years ago. So that's a little odd. I wish we'd seen a picture of the man so we would know. That would kind of go to his character if he was actually like charged with that. It'd be interesting. 17-year-old gang member Craig Weston article says Chatham County jury. So yeah. That could be him. That could be him. Yeah, I'm like reading the article. It says Craig Weston, and this is just a FYI. I don't know if this is the same Craig Weston. I'm just looking up Google. and reading articles. So I don't know if this is the same guy. I don't know a picture of the guy, but apparently from his text messages, he said he was like African American or something. So Craig Weston has been indicted for murder charges. According to police, Weston is a known member of the gang Disciples. Weston is charged with murder of Javante Reed. Reed died December. The grand jury indicted Weston on felony murder during aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and multiple counts of possession of firearms while committing a felony. It says in joint press conference Friday held by Savannah Chatham Metro Police Captain Lenny Gunther said they had arrested 13 known gang members, gangster Disciples. Weston was among those arrested. The arrests were spearheaded by SCMPD and Gun Violence Initiative. Was he ever convicted of the crime? That's interesting.
1:40 to allow for enough time there and back. Okay.
Jury's exiting.
So I guess 1:40, they're taking a lunch break and they're going to do the guy's testimony. So they're going to be back till like 3. Queen left. Look up the article, 2 weeks of Leilani Simon murder trial opens with FBI testimony. That could be true. It could have been like, you know, how some guys give flowers to women. I guess his way of showing affection to her would probably be giving her drugs instead of flowers. They asked about boyfriend, and I think the dealer said some rhetoric like, I'm your first. Yeah. Black something.
Okay. And with that, we'll be in recess until, yes, ma'am.
One issue, may the court dismiss the material witness warrant that was signed for the witness yesterday?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Ms.
Craig
Parker.
Weston, to be specific.
Very important.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Just one thing. I have to go file objections to a PSR real quick on the lunch break. I'm a few minutes late, just to tell you ahead of time. That will be why.
Oh, I understand. Somehow life goes on, doesn't it?
It
Still have
does,
requirements.
and federal court does not care what I'm doing over here.
So the time now is 12:38. We'll plan to start back up at 1:40. Okay, we're in recess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Queen, are you there? Queen? Okay. She's not there. It said that there will be testimony from Craig Weston, Tim Western, as well as according to WSA. Okay. They also call them by Martin. Yeah, I think it's a little, we got a lunch break. I don't know if anyone else is in the back. I don't know what Queen's doing. I don't know if the dog eventually attacked Queen. Duke attacked her. I don't know. But no clue. Let me see. The discussion state motions, not the broadcast. Cross-Wagon. Okay. It's interesting. Arrested for murder of a 19-year-old. Mother seeking justice. There's like no argument. Like articles after that. It's interesting. For Weston. Oh, for hurt nobody. Okay, let me see. Mother seeking justice for 19-year-old Carter Street, Savannah, Chatham Metropolitan. Police and Javante Reed was shot and killed after the altercation. Another teen, December 11th. And whether he's off. Jackie Boney said she can't imagine why anyone would want to hurt her son. Why he's off the streets. I'm trying to see if he actually got convicted. Because if he's convicted and he's jailed, then that's not him. So I'm just saying. Let me see. Law enforcement sweep. Same grand jury indicted Weston charged with felony murder by causing death Reed. Returned. It's just indictments so far on that one. What's weird is I don't see an article for a conviction. I thought that since he's been charged with malice murder could interfere with reasonable doubt since she went to see him the night of everything. Yeah, that could be interesting. Trying to think of a scenario where that would work. Scroll beats him roll. By the way, since Queen's skedaddled away, I don't know where Queen's at. Did you hear about the Abercrombie and Fitch person? Apparently, the ex-Abercrombie and Fitch CEO got arrested for sex trafficking and prostitution charges. That's interesting. So I sitting there, I was like, wow. Let me see if I can find it. I know where Queen went. She skedaddled away. She left me alone. I'm here to suffer. Apparently, doesn't look like a looker, by the way, the ex-Crombie and Fitch person. Mike Jeffries and 2 others were arrested Tuesday as part of a criminal sex trafficking investigation in FBI federal prosecution in Brooklyn. Jeffries and his partner Matt Smith, third man Jim Jacobson, are accused of operating an international sex trafficking and prostitution business and recruiting young men for parties in the U.S. and abroad, according to the indictment. Seems like a lot of people are getting caught for doing this. It's very interesting. What a bunch of freaks. Yeah. Here to suffer. Yep, absolutely. Thanks for telling me. Yeah, it wasn't quite a surprise, to be honest with you, especially with the business model of Abercrombie and Fitch. But it's interesting. Very interesting. Let me just one moment. But let me see. A former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO, okay, well, it's read that the former retail executive Smith relied on their vast financial resources, Jeffers' power, as the CEO of Abercrombie and numerous people, including Jacobson, and network employees, contractors, and security professionals to run business that was dedicated to fulfilling their sexual desires and ensuring that their international sex trafficking prostitution business was kept secret in indictment alleges. The federal prosecution said the trio paid dozens of men to travel around the world to engage in sex acts. The indictment mentioned 15 alleged victims and identified as John Doe's 1 through 15. Jeffries allegedly recruited and hired paid a slate of household staff to facilitate and supervise the events. Jacobson traveled throughout the United States and internationally to recruit interview men for the so-called events. I'm calling it event because they keep on saying SEX constantly, so I'm just going to call it the events instead of, I don't know why they have to put the, I guess to be salacious or whatnot, but whatever. During the tryouts for the potential candidates, Jacobson required that the candidates first engage in sex acts. Of course, I just said that whole tirade, and now they say it again, with him, according to prosecutors. The indictment said many of the men were coerced, led to believe that attending the events would yield modeling opportunities with Abercrombie and or otherwise benefit their careers, or the alternative, that not complying with the request of certain acts during the sex events would harm their career. Interesting. Very interesting so far. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm back. I hear you. I was talking. I'm sorry. I had a call that came in. I had to take it.
All right. I was just basically just reading about the article. Then I was talking about how the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch was arrested for sex trafficking.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. By the way, they're having lunch, and they're probably going to call the witness, and they're probably going to be gone for a while.
So we might as well just go ahead and end this one then, huh?
I think probably the best thing to do is end this one, and then when they start actually testifying with someone that you could start off with, then start another one. You know what I mean? But keeping it like live like that is not going to be good. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and just sitting it on there like that, it's not gonna. I mean, especially if they're gonna be done for, you know what I mean? If the break till 2:10 and it's only 12:18 here,
Yeah, my guess is like, and then they're going to testify. They're going to be off the record, and they're probably going to be like, I would just check, like when you see them starting up again, just like start up alive. But I don't think they're going to go really for another hour, like 2 hours, to be honest with you.
It's a 1 hour lunch break, so usually they come back on an hour from now, so it'd be like 1:19. But then they got that, or 1:20. But then they got that drug dealer or whatever. He's going to testify, so that's off the record. So it's going to be a lot longer than just the hour lunch break, is what he's saying.
Yeah, pretty much. And you can always, like, if you start off a little bit late with the other witness, you can always just like fast forward a little bit. You know what I mean? Because you know how they're with the breaks, so you could just cut it up into 2 lives. I think that's probably the best idea.
Yeah, that or just come back and do like a recap, or to recap it tomorrow or something. I'm sure. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, up to you. Up to you.
I don't want to get busy doing something and then have to come back and start another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But I do know we are going to have a regular live because we got some stuff to talk about. So,
well, you could probably, either or start up later, or you can start up now within a regular live with like something else while you wait on a separate live.
Yeah, we could do that. We want to skedaddle to the hive and do that?
Yeah, up to you. I'll be around.
All right, we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, instead of just sitting here for like 3 hours or possibly 2.5 hours because they're going to depose.
So you know what? That's what we'll do. We'll skedaddle to the hive and talk some over there.
Yeah, I'll head over there. I'll see you there.
All right, I'm going to drop the link for people in chat. Let me see here. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to skedaddle over to the hive sidebar, and we are going to have a chat, just a normal, regular live. Because we got to wait 2 hours anyways, so we might as well go over there and talk about fake screenshots, fake outrage, and bullshit, and JLR's new song. And my video. I'll catch y'all in a little bit.